as well too. So I definitely enjoy having y'all up in this space, whatnot. Carissa up in this space. I'm glad to have you up in here as well too. Sir Charles, what's going on? I'm not sure if you're normal up in here, but I'm glad to have you up in this space too. Y'all go ahead and tweet the space out. Y'all know I'm still on that suspension I'm serving with old Twitter, so I'll be coming off. They not gonna have me coming off the space damn near to I think damn near Wednesday. Like this supposed to be I think I'm on like a day, and it's almost still two complete days. So I won't be coming off the damn Twitter suspension until probably by early Wednesday. Might be around by 12 a.m. Wednesday or whatever. But y'all go ahead and tweet it out. I appreciate y'all tweeting it out, man. And we're gonna be talking about a number of things tonight. Of course, we're gonna be talking about Charles Barkley, the running his mouth. We're gonna be talking about the Hebrew Israelites. And we're gonna be talking about Chuck Schumer and his open border policy as well, too, man. So, like I say, I'm glad to have y'all up in the space tonight. We had a great space last night, but that's Professor. I know you kind of chilled for a little bit, then you came up a little bit later on, but I was still glad to hear you, Carissa. I know it's been a while since you came up in the space and actually spoke, so I was glad to hear you actually come in and chime in last night. That was a great thing as well, too. I see Ray just dropped up in the space as well, too. So, Ray, let me go ahead and send you the host invite. So, man, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to let a few more people go ahead and start to come in before we start to dig into these articles. I didn't print them up today, but I'm going to go ahead and go to the website. I curated them still on the newstoter.com platform. So we're going to go ahead and read them off the sites, which sometimes is really annoying trying to scroll down and those advertisements popping up and stuff like that. But, you know, you got to work with what you got to work today, man. And Charles Barkley, is always, is being Charles Barkley, man. Charles Barkley loves the limelight. You know, he signed a $60 million, I think, extension with TNT. So Charles Barkley's like the residential foreman on the plantation. He's got to always keep the people in line and this and that. He's got to show his Republican people that he's a hard ass and that he's this no nonsense black dude and whatnot. Because I hear a lot of white boys always talk about Charles Barkley. Like, Charles Barkley, he doesn't play. Charles Barkley tells us just how it is or whatever. He tells it just like it is because he tells them the stuff that they want to hear. So that's what Charles Barkley goes ahead and he goes ahead and he gives a lot of conservative white men the talking points that they enjoy hearing. So they think that he's a straight shooter and this and that. Like I said, and we said it before, he's always on the opposite end of things like that. So no love to Charles Barkley whatsoever. Ray, what's going on, man? I see you up in the spot tonight. What's going on? You got in here a little bit. Oh, Ray lost connection. So Ray will be back up here in a minute. So he dropped down.
I was about to say, I didn't mean to cut you off that Newstoter, but I guess we got Sir Charles up in here because, well, you know, for a long time, Charles Barkley was known as Sir Charles.
Oh, yeah.
So that's probably why we have him up in here.
Yeah, I mean, if Sir Charles want to speak tonight too, I wish we could get the actual real Charles up in here to hear what he got to say. But yeah, you remember Sir Charles, and he always had the commercial. What was the right guard or one of them commercials? I am not a role model and all this other stuff. So yeah. Then we got the Hebrew Israelites coming out. The Hebrew Israelites, and I think they've done this a couple times since the Kyrie Irving suspension. They came out, they protested at Barkley Arena or whatever. Barkley Arena. So they coming out and they're protesting about the treatment that Kyrie Irving got. And then we got, once again, Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer couldn't help himself. He had to go full-fledged liberal, and he's sitting up here, and at least he ain't trying to pretend anymore about the open border policy and whatnot. Chuck Schumer's like, hey, we got 11 million illegal immigrants in this country. Legalize them all. So that's where we at tonight, y'all. We had a nice space last night, man, and it was pretty nice and it was pretty good. And we went for a minute, man. We was on there like 4 hours last night. So not sure if we're gonna quite go 4 tonight, but we're definitely gonna have a good space. We're definitely gonna exchange some dialogue and whatnot. So like I said, I'm gonna let a few more of our folks come up in the space, and then we're gonna go ahead and get it in and see what's going on. Ray, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, we good, brother, man. Good to see you up in here.
Yes, sir, man. I was just listening to what Tyler was saying about this whole Chuck Schumer thing. He wants to bring 11 million people because they're telling us that, you know, America's population is declining, but at the same time they're pushing abortion, which makes no sense. It's very contradictory.
Yeah, that when you bring that up, that don't make any sense. Now you're sitting up here and you're talking about legalizing abortion, and you're upset that abortion is knocked off the books and this and that or whatever. So you can't really be that serious about talking about the population and this and that or whatever. And like I said, we've never had an issue with black people in our never really in our people really had an issue producing kids and stuff like that. So I'm not exactly sure who he's talking about or whatever. So we'll go ahead and yeah, he can't be talking about us.
That's all it is. They speak like that. They talking about them, so they don't want to be the minority, even though according to them, minorities are treated so great. Well, that's the case. So why don't y'all want to be one? They talk out both sides of their mouth.
Exactly. That's what it's all about, y'all. Everybody knows after the baby boomers, and I'm talking about, of course, white people, baby boomers. After that generation of people, the population had pretty much taken a hit because the Generation X and, of course, the millennial, even though it is a lot of millennials, the Generation X did not produce a lot of those. And I'm talking about on the white folks end of this now. They didn't produce a lot on that end. A lot of the Generation X white women chose not to get out there and have a lot of kids. Many of them decided they wanted to work careers, and of course, some went, some got involved with men of other exotic features. And then, of course, some have been, they decided to become lesbians or whatever. But however, it's hurt their population, so to speak. And I guess that's what this Chuck Schumer is trying to do. He's trying to make sure he can save his people.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead, man, and we're gonna go ahead and jump into it and whatever. And as people come in here, we can go ahead and let them know. I want to just start touching up on the articles so we can go ahead and get the conversation rolling. People, like I say, once they join up in the actual room, they can also join in if they miss what we said, and we can go ahead and just relay the information, update them, let them know exactly what's going on, what's the topic, what's the discussion tonight. Hopefully they'll go ahead and they'll chime in if they want to go ahead and speak. Ray, if I'm reading anything in the articles, anything, and you see anybody requesting to come up and speak, just go ahead and allow them, go ahead and make them a speaker, because a lot of times when I'm looking, I can't see as I'm reading or whatever. So just go ahead, let them go. DJ should be in sometime tonight or whatever. So you'll probably have to go ahead and hit him and let him add him as a co-host as well or whatever. So we'll go ahead and we'll get the actual the room started. I want to go ahead and start to actually get into this thing a little bit, so everybody, like I say, when they come in, they can actually hear exactly what we're talking about. So I'm gonna start off on the Charles Barkley one, and we're just gonna go around and we're gonna hit up these topics. So the first one is Sports World Reacts to Charles Barkley Controversy. This was published by the MSN.com. It's on the Newstoter.com platform. I'm still on suspension, so I can't put it up there in the Jumbotron, y'all. I wasn't able to tweet it out, but it is on the actual Newstoter.com platform, you guys. If you go to Newstoter.com and you go to the news, the black newspaper section, you'll see this actual article in there. And it says, let's go ahead. Charles Barkley is trending on Twitter Monday afternoon. Like I said, I'm going to be reading this off the actual website itself too. So a little advertisement and stuff like that, sometimes having to scroll up and down kind of makes it a little bit harder. But the former NBA star turned inside the NBA analyst is often going viral for his takes about the league. But this time is for something entirely different. Barkley's comment on the black community and gay people is going viral. One thing that's always disappointed me, black people treat gay people the way black people treat gay people. We are the worst when it comes to treating gay people, Barkley said. It's always bothered me. Barkley comment is now going viral on social media with many people upset. Sports fans have taken to social media to weigh in on the controversial comments. The media uses Charles Barkley's self-hate to spread anti-blackness, one fan suggested. White men are shooting up gay clubs, and Charles Barkley is tap dancing on CNN saying black people are the worst at mistreating the gay community, one fan added. You can support gay people without attacking black people, another fan added. When did Charles Barkley become the spokesperson for black people, one fan added. Barkley, one of the greatest NBA players of all time, recently signed a big contract extension with Turner Sports. He's clearly not going anywhere anytime soon. So, of course, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Y'all not going to let him go anywhere anytime soon because Charles Barkley's forever giving the actual clippings and the actual talking points that so many people in this country love to hear. So Charles Barkley definitely ain't going nowhere no time soon because, like I say, Charles Barkley represents a segment of Black America that white Americans can actually look up to and actually respect him and stuff. They talk about he's straight laced, he gives it how it is, he doesn't care this and that. Charles don't play the race card and this and that or whatever. I remember back in the day when Charles said something that he talked about, he got upset. He was in line. He's like, that's why I can't stand white people. You know, they got upset about that for a little bit. Of course, we know Charles Barkley didn't mean that because Charles Barkley has always been married to white women. So that was clearly just a little shot that Charles, you know, was just taking or whatever at the point. Go ahead, Ray, and then I'm gonna go ahead and touch up on the next article.
I just wanted to direct everyone to the jumbotron, especially the photo in the middle. Someone said, "But what should we expect from him? He's always been over there with them folks, you know, talking about the LGBT." Because there's a picture of Charles Barkley in a dress in the jumbotron center picture.
And like I say, whenever, no matter what outrageous event happens against Black people in this country, Charles Barkley always finds a way to minimize it. He always finds a way to attack Black people. Like in that space, I think DJ had, he played when Charles Barkley was talking about when Breonna Taylor's, he was trying not to compare Breonna Taylor's situation to George Floyd's situation, saying, well, you know, Breonna Taylor, when the situation with her was different because her boyfriend actually did shoot a cop and this and that or whatever. Yeah, her boyfriend shot a cop because they illegally broke into the house. The man didn't know they were cops. His girl just got shot. So he's sitting up there trying to save her life and his life. So he's not knowing who the hell broke into the house, the apartment. He's up here trying to protect himself. So yeah, he had every right to fire and try to protect himself. But Charles Barkley sits up here and he says dumb stuff like this all the time to George Floyd. Not George Floyd, but when the thing happened with oh Jesus, go ahead, Ray, and I'll think about the situation. Go ahead.
I'm actually old enough to remember, and I'm sure a lot of people that's in here remember. Do y'all remember back in the day when Charles Barkley was spitting that little girl face?
Oh yeah, and man, that just took me back right there, man. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes, I remember that.
I'm trying to figure out what changed. Obviously, that wasn't a good thing to spit no child's face, but what happened with this dude? Did it make him completely coolified?
He's always been on that level, truly though.
He was not quite on that level, y'all, back in the day. Not quite. It's more like when he got out of the NBA is when he really got on that coon shit. You know what I'm saying? For real. And but it's like when he was at Auburn, and then, you know, while he was first coming into the NBA, he was more on the level of being an actual Black man, if you know what I mean. It seemed like this dude really became a coon after he left the NBA, and he got involved or got connected with what does he work with? TNT, when he started working for them. And you know, of course, you know, he chills and caters to that whatever his name is, Ernie Johnson. So
yeah, like Ernie. Yeah, Ernie Johnson.
Yes. I think that's when Charles really started showing a lot more of that cooning when he got involved with TNT.
A KC on YouTube just said Charles Barkley is blaming us because it's a buck broken photo of him in a dress floating around social media. But I think he did that dress. Wasn't that a Saturday Night Live skit that he was on too? That he had that dress on, if I'm not mistaken, from back in the day.
Right, I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't see any straight male to do something like that.
I don't either, Ray, but I believe he was on Saturday Night Live clowning on there, and he had that damn dress on. You know, like I say, they always want to put a Black man in a dress or whatever. And you know, when you can get an actual athlete that's a superstar at the top of his game to put on a dress or whatever like that, then you really, you know what I'm saying, you really got your point across. So the fact that they was able to get Charles in that dress back in the day, that really made their point. We're gonna go back to this Charles Barkley thing as well too. I want to go ahead and touch up on all of the news things, and then y'all know as always how we do in the space. Go ahead and pick and choose what you want to hit up on. I want to talk about Chuck Schumer, and I want to talk about the Hebrew Israelites, them coming to the actual to the place where the Brooklyn Nets play at, and protesting about the treatment of Kyrie Irving as well too. So those are going to be the final two articles. In fact, I may hit up the actual Hebrew Israelites because it's really, really quick. So let's go ahead and touch up on that so we can go ahead and get this roundtable discussion flowing and going. I know y'all want to go ahead and speak on that. And this says Kyrie Irving Nets. Let me see. Kyrie Irving's Nets return leads to Black Hebrew Israelites demonstrating outside of Barkley Center. Okay, that's where the New Jersey Nets play at. This was a Fox News article, so you know Fox always how they like to spin it and whatnot. So I like actually getting stuff from Fox because Fox don't even hide the fact that they're pure necks right here. Like they are pure necks in the purest sense or whatever. They try to act like they're gonna give a unbalanced, a fair, balanced actual opinion, but they're really not. The Brooklyn Nets reinstated Kyrie Irving prior to Sunday night game against the Memphis Grizzlies, which prompted Black Hebrew Israelites to put on a large demonstration outside of Barclays Center. The group is connected to the anti-Semitic film on Amazon that Irving posted to his social media, leading to his 8-game suspension by the Nets. The movie Hebrews and Negroes Wake Up Black America, the same name of Ronald Dalton Jr.'s 2015 book, had a description that says the film uncovers the true identity of the children of Israel by proving the true ethnicity of Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, the sons of Ham, Shem, Japheth. Find out what Islam, Judaism, Christianity has covered up for centuries in regards to the true biblical identity of the so-called Negro in this movie packed with tons of research. Wearing purple and gold t-shirts, Black Hebrew Israelites were heard chanting around the arena. Boston Celtics forward Jaylen Brown also seems to be supporting a demonstration on his social media where he tweeted energy in response to a video of the group. So the fact that this brother was actually saying something, now Jaylen Brown, you will be coming under fire too, because they putting you out there. They letting you know, okay, well, this is one of their supporters here as well too. So the buck breaking ain't stopped. They got Kyrie on the right now on an apology tour as well. Brown was vocal about Nets owner Joe, I don't know what's his name, Tesaya, whatever, comments regarding Irving's suspension, where he said the controversial point guard still had work to do. Brown, one of the vice presidents of the National Basketball Players Association, initially called the owner's remarks on Irving returning alarming. The owner's response was alarming to me, Brown said via the New York Post. He didn't say that the organization was working together to get Kyrie back on the floor. He said that Kyrie had more work to do, and our society has more work to do, including the owner. It's 2022. It takes 10 minutes of your time to see who these business owners, corporations, etc., who they're associated with and who they're doing business with, who they're affiliated with. I'm vice president of the union, and it's my job to protect our players legally. And to see the co-founder and chairman of Nike, Phil Knight, first come out and condemn Kyrie, and also see the Nets owner say he has more work to do, I think it's time for a larger conversation. While Irving's suspension began with posting a link to the film, the Nets decided to suspend him after he had 2 opportunities with the media to apologize for his comments, which he said on Sunday was a human reaction because he felt he wasn't anti-Semitic. However, while completing a 6-step checklist the Nets required of him before reinstatement, Irving understands now how hurtful his comments were and regrets not apologizing sooner. And that's what I say. We got my man right here on the apology tour. Like, damn, you apologize one time. Tell the people, like, listen, I apologize and we're moving forward. But we can't do that because now they have to humble you. Now they have to destroy every strand of pride you got. They got to make sure they buoy you up here. So I don't understand. I don't stand for anything closer to hate speech or anti-Semitism or anything that is anti-going against the human race, Irving said via ESPN. I feel like we all should have an opportunity to speak for ourselves when things are assumed about us. And I feel it was necessary for me to stand in this place and take accountability for my actions because there was a way I should have handled all of this. The Black Hebrew Israelite movement has groups that work semi-independently, according to the Anti-Defamation League, with some being more radical than others. Since the late 1960s, the radical Hebrew Israelites ideology splintered to form increasingly anti-Semitic, anti-white, anti-LGBTQ, xenophobic, misogynistic set of groups who preach they are the only true Israelites of the Bible and perpetuate the anti-Semitic belief that the so-called Jews have stolen their identity and birthright, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. And that's what it really boils down to, as we discussed in a couple other spaces ago. It's all about the fact that these people are sitting up here saying that they the true Israelites, and that's what got people pissed and upset and very upset, very mad. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get back to that. Anybody want to touch on this real quick? Because I want to get on this Chuck Schumer one as well. Like I said, we're going to go back and we're going to hit on all points. Everybody's welcome to go back and touch up any article that we talked about. For those coming in, we talked about Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley has put a target on black people, saying that black people are the most anti-gay people in the world, basically. It was black people, I guess, that shot up the damn club the other night. It was black people down there in Orlando a few years back in Post that killed the people. Oh, no, wait a minute. It was not black people. I guess it was black people doing all of the conversion therapy on the gay people and stuff, trying to make them not become gay. Oh, well, I guess that was not black people as well either. You got it, Professor.
Thank you, there, Newstoter. And once again, man, great space, great topics. The only thing I can say about Charles Barkley, man, this dude represents the university that I graduated from. He was a hell of a basketball player. But this dude is cooning big time, and it makes me sick to my stomach. I can't understand how you can put your people out there as being hateful towards gay people, when they just had a mass shooting of a young white male that did it. And there's been several of these mass shootings which have involved white males. They have shot up these gay clubs. So you can't sit there and make that kind of statement about your own people. That is just ridiculous. So Charles Barkley is, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the top coons on the list. And I mean, he's up there. When I say top of the line coon, okay? He's up there with Clarence Thomas. That's where I put him at.
And you'll get no disagreement from me on that. And like I say, just go back. I wish we had an actual wordplay list of actually everything Charles say. Every time you have any kind of insurrection in this country, anytime you have any just bad verdict that goes against black people where everybody knows it's BS, Charles Barkley will sit up there and he will go ahead and he'll support it. He'll sit up there and, well, you know, the police hands was tied, and based on the evidence that they gave the jurors, it's always an excuse. It's always a reason why, you know, black people, you know what I'm saying, why this had to go against him. And he's the main one that sits up there. And it's pretty bad to say, even Shaq sits up there and he goes along with a lot of that stuff as well, too. I know Shaq always said he had dreams of being a police officer and this and that. Nothing wrong with that. If you want to go and serve your community, serve your people, whatever. But it seems like too many times that these guys sit on there and they're just, you know, just, I don't know, man. They just sitting up there just trying to come with excuses and this and that about their own people. You're already millionaires, man. You don't have to kiss that much tail. They're not going to take that money away from you. So you already got your money and whatnot. I'm going to go ahead, y'all. We're going to touch up on this last article, Chuck Schumer. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to dive in. Diane Scott on YouTube says, Charles Barkley is disgusting. He's always been anti-black himself, love of all things white. And I can't say I disagree with you on that, sister. What's up to you as well, Diane? Thank you for coming up in the YouTube space as well. And you're right, sister. Anytime, like I say, anytime he can make an excuse for the treatment of what black people are getting or whatever, he will sit up there. He will make that excuse. People sit up and they talk about Michael Jordan being a Tom and this and that. Michael Jordan at least sits up there, and if Michael Jordan ain't got something to say about what's going on, he won't say anything at all. Charles Barkley sit up there hearing the damn facts, and he'll just go up there and he'll just go anti-black as much as he can. So I really don't have much use for Charles Barkley at all. White folks, like I said, they're gonna keep him papered up there. They're gonna keep him up there because they love to hear it. Like I say, because Charles is supposedly a no-nonsense, tough-nosed type person or whatever, and this and that. So they love hearing this stuff that Charles Barkley says. Whenever you can get one of these former athletes, especially one that's on the conservative side and this and that, and he's got all these talking points that's against black people, they eat this kind of stuff up, man. They eat it up. Let's go ahead and kick it real quick to this last article about Chuck Schumer, about Mr. Chuck Schumer and his actual immigration and this and that, what he feels about immigration and 11 million immigrants that's here illegally. And this article is actually from a Carol Markovich from the New York Post. This is from the New York Post opinion. It says Chuck Schumer finally admits that Democrats don't want any real immigration law. What I find interesting about this actual article itself is that this woman here is actually a descendant. She's an actual immigrant herself. And it's going to be, when I get to the point, when I get to the end, you can actually hear what it says or whatever. But Also, just like I say, she's an actual immigrant herself. So what she says is a little bit funny to me towards the end. I agree with what she's saying, but I mean, for the longest, her immigrants, her white immigrants from Europe and stuff like that, white people over here didn't want them coming either, but they kept coming and whatnot, especially when they figured that they could water down the progress of black people. They would bite their tongue like, oh, I really don't want no more of these from our homeland or from our neighboring countries to come here. But, better them than the jigaboo. So let's go ahead and see what Chuck Schumer. It says Chuck Schumer finally admits it. Democrats don't want any real immigration law. This is from the New York Post. It was also curated on the Newstoter.com platform. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer made some startling admissions last week about his immigration views. We have a population that is not reproducing on its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers. But to get a path to citizenship for all 11 million, however many undocumented ones that are here. The honesty was breathtaking. For so long, Schumer and his party have danced around the truth. They want to legalize anyone coming over our border for any reason. And like I said, this woman here is also an immigrant herself, too. So Schumer wasn't always this brazen about wanting open borders for all. In 2014, he bragged about Barack Obama was serious about enforcing immigration law and had deported more people than any other president. Schumer used to at least mouth some lines about securing the border when pushing for legalization. No more. That's why it's important Americans know that the idea that Democrats want anything resembling reasonable immigration policies is up. But it's going to require Republicans putting on their big boy pants and pointing it out. Republicans have to stop licking their wounds from an election that didn't go as well as they had hoped and start really fighting. The Senate Majority Leader is candidly saying he is done with anything resembling immigration law and wants to move to legalize every person in the country illegally. This is intensely a bad idea that the majority of the country opposes. You can tell it's a political loser as Schumer, who won re-election by 13 points, waited until after the election to tell us how his party plans to disregard immigration policy and legalize anyone it wants. The idea that we have 11 million illegal immigrants in this country is also laughable. Or how many is doing very heavy lifting in Schumer declaration. A 2009 Reuters piece on Schumer's immigration policies had the number at 12 million. The U.S. Border Patrol had 227,547 encounters along our southwest border in September alone. These have been the numbers for much of 2022 and 21. We had nearly 5 million people in just 2 years enter on just the southern border. Unlike Democrats, we can do the math. 11 million is the lowest of low balls. Republicans are generally afraid to go hard on immigration. It isn't that gosh golly racist. No, there's nothing racist about having borders. There's nothing racist about saying each country gets to control who enters. There's nothing racist about saying people who break the law to enter don't get to be put at the front of the line for citizenship. Race is irrelevant. Of course, now this is a white woman, like I said, a white European saying this, because now here she comes with her little spin. Race is irrelevant. No one wants 200,000 white Europeans rolling into our airports every month either. It's the quantity of people that is unsustainable, coupled with a non-existent corrupted process and a catastrophic result for so many towns and cities. Look what happened when Florida Governor Ron DeSantis flew just 49 migrants to Martha's Vineyard in September. It caused pandemonium on the island, and they were just sent away the next day. One of the richest places in the world couldn't handle the tiniest influx, but our border towns are expected to simply accept thousands every single day. It's wrong. We all know it. Elections aren't the only time for parties to present their cases to the American people. Money should be spent on ads yesterday to hammer home that Democrats are admitting to wanting an open border where we legalize anyone who comes through. I'm an immigrant. I want reasonable immigration to this country. But what we have now is nothing resembling the process my family went through. We had to apply, wait, and be approved to come to this country. We had to have someone who pledged to support us if we couldn't support ourselves. We were refugees and we still could not simply stroll in. Or as President Donald Trump said in 2019, if you open the borders, my God, there's a lot of poverty in this world, and you're going to have a lot of people from all over the world. Actually, that was Senator Bernie Sanders, and he was right. So, like I said, I find it funny, too, because this country, it flooded a bunch of Europeans over time as well, too. And this woman, she's sitting up here And it's funny how all the white Europeans, immigrants and stuff, always do things the right way. So I'm definitely not a fan of having these open borders and stuff like that. But she should also remember that it was her people that came over here. And I don't know what generation of immigrant she is, gave their ass free land, put them at the head of the line and stuff like over the black people that was already here too. So I understand what she's saying that, yeah, you just can't have open border policies, but you've never had any more immigrants that come to this country that was more than white people. White people flooded this country in the 1800s and everything else. 1900s came through Ellis Island and whatnot from all over and their homelands and came here and got put in the front of the damn line. So she should know exactly about it. Now, it's true. We got to go ahead and we got to close that border, and we just can't let them all come in. And Chuck Schumer, he ain't even trying to hide it no more. He wants to get them all to come over. He talking about legalizing 11 damn million immigrants. We know it's more than 11 illegal, 11 more than 11 million illegal immigrants in this country today. So that's just a number right now that they're downplaying. But Schumer wants to hide behind the fact that he's sitting up here talking about, well, you know, we don't produce. Like, damn, is this a sterile country? I think it's over 330 some million people in this country. I think we, I mean, exactly what we supposed to be, like the size of China or India. We don't, most of the people that come in this country want to live in a certain number of states. We have a bunch of other states up here that's not really heavily populated, but nobody wants to live in Wyoming or Montana or Iowa or the Dakotas. None of those places. They want to come to the South, or they want to go up to the Northeast, and they want to or they want to go out west of California and live in these states right here. And overpopulate them even more. So I get with this woman who's also an immigrant herself, the descendant of immigrants, and I get what she's saying. That, yeah, 200,000. I tell you what, if it was 200,000 white people coming through the border every month, yeah, a lot of white folks would be pissed and upset, but they wouldn't be as pissed and upset as if it was other groups and stuff like that too. But nonetheless, those borders do need to get closed down. But like I said, this is like the pot calling the kettle black in this case right here. DJ, what's going on, man?
Ain't not much, family. What's good? Newstoter family, reparations up, black people up. Yeah, on that one. So what you said about certain demographics and people not wanting to move in certain areas, well, you know, according to the Black State of America data, you know, shout out to brother and shout out to brother Black majority state power and Black American homeland. According to that statistical data, that you got Asians taking over certain parts of Wyoming. This is why we keep hearing and constantly covering the foreign investment into America, buying up farmland, all this other stuff. China is buying up a lot of stuff. You know, just Asians in general. They're trying to move out Midwest. Other thing is too, like I think we was talking about the other night. You got like a lot of Haitians and certain other demographics of Black diaspora. They trying to get out of Florida now because DeSantis say, "Hey, yo, y'all up out of here." So they coming into Georgia, North and South Carolina, you know, places like that, Maryland. You know, Maryland is starting to have a big problem with the immigration. And as far as like these other Midwestern states, yeah, you got that's where a lot of these white Nazi European cats is going. Also, don't forget about these Afghanistans. A lot of them are headed Midwest too, into states where like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, who are tethers, by the way, you know what I'm saying, and are anti-black and definitely black men. So these type of folks are actually buying up the land. Now the sad situation is the government, our federal government, is allowing these folks to do this shit. So why would you allow China to buy farmland over there in the Midwest where there's our old military bases are at? Why are you giving these folks access to us like that, to be so close in proximity when these folks are really our fucking enemy? Yep. But I'm gonna yield there real quick.
What do you think is going to happen, man, after this war where Ukraine is wrapped up? I mean, how many of these Ukrainians you think? Because let's not forget, remember we did that space. We was talking about Hampton University went ahead and started allowing a bunch of Ukrainian students to come over there, get scholarships, get room and board, and everything else like that. So, what do you think is going to happen whenever this actual war between Russia and Ukraine finally ends? You're gonna have a bunch of Ukrainians coming over here as well too. In the 70s, when you had the Vietnam War, after the Vietnam War, how many Vietnamese came over here and lived in this country, and they stuck them in black neighborhoods and stuff like that? So after this actual war where Ukraine is actually over with, You already, and you got Biden sitting up here talking about giving them $37 billion more dollars. $37 billion more. This is how big these people think now. Okay, you never had the money for this. You never had the money for that. You got to end these social services and all these other programs and this and that. But hey, we just gave y'all $4-5 billion a few months ago. Now let's go ahead and let's give you 6, 7, 8, 9 times of what we just gave you. Since we don't have the money and this and that, let's go ahead and give you that money. And on top of giving you that money, giving you weapons, giving you everything else, when this war is over, I predict that you're going to have a bunch of Ukrainians coming over to this country, just like you got the Afghans, like you were saying. On top of the Afghans and the Ukrainians coming over here, they're going to be coming right to this country.
They over here now, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, they over here now, but it's gonna be even more of them over here after they're gonna show the, and it's gonna be the way they're gonna have this thing. They're gonna show the damage over there in their homelands and this and that, and the damage and everything that went on, and they go like, well, these people don't have any place to go at, and we got to go ahead and open our borders to them, and this and that. Y'all come over here, and we'll take care of you, and this and that. It'll be the same nonsense that it always is. You'll have more immigrants coming in here, draining resources and stuff like that. The same resources they talk about the people on these social services drain and use up and everything else. Chuck Schumer and the rest of them are already plotting and scheming how they can bring them over here. And it ain't just Chuck Schumer either. The Republicans can sit up here and say all this noise, but they do it too.
I don't want you to get sick, man. It's nice and frosty out here.
Hey, DJ. Hey, DJ, you got to mute your mic.
Okay, that's my man with the hoodie. Help out, you know what I'm saying? What's going on, big dog? All right.
Hey, DJ.
Got a couple more people.
I don't know if he can hear me. Let me. Hey, DJ. Okay, I think he finally muted his mic because he was out there having a little delivery with somebody. Like, but nah, man. Like, I mean, this is nonsense. Now we sitting up here, we talking about we can't produce. You in a country with almost goddamn 350 million people up here, bro. What are you talking about? Talk about we can't have enough kids and this and that, so we got to go ahead. And it's illegal immigrants at that. You know what I'm saying? It's not even people that came over here the right way. It's people that came over here illegally. And now you're sitting up here trying to find a way because really your party is trying to go ahead and extend that lead and trying to get more voters in the goddamn in their voting block. That's what it's all about. That's what it's always been about. Is how we can one wants a cheap labor, the other one wants their voting block. And that's what it's all about. So anybody that wants to come up and say anything real quick, because we can go ahead, like I said, and also about the Hebrew Israelites. You see that the impact that they made going out there talking about the Kyrie Irving situation. Kyrie Irving is constantly, like, I was hoping Kyrie was going to actually go ahead and retire, man. It's better to actually go ahead and retire than constantly keep issuing these same apologies. Like, what more is it left to apologize about, man? There's nothing left to apologize. You already said it all. There's nothing left that we need to hear. The people have already showed every time we have a black celebrity and they get accused of anti-Semitic remarks, they get broken in half like a jigsaw puzzle. Like, we don't need to hear any more apologies right now. Professor, did you let me see, somebody wants to come up. We got Kid Gravity coming up into the mic. Kid Gravity, what's going on, man? You got something you want to add to the convo?
Charles Barkley, the unicorn.
Yeah, but tell us something we don't know. I mean, I believe you had a space earlier about this topic too as well, didn't you, Kid?
Hey, say that again. My kid's being crazy. I don't know what's going on.
I said I believe you also had a topic. I believe you also had a space about Barkley earlier today, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was mostly about Barkley, and I also wanted to talk more about like Jonathan Greenblatt of the ADL, because he's been talking real spicy about Kyrie Irving, and it seems like it was unwarranted because he had all that smoke for that man, but in that same city, they just arrested a Jewish kid from committing a mass shooting on synagogue, and he didn't say a word about it.
Yeah, and I believe I just saw that on the CBS Evening News right before this space started. That you had and I just saw it was a white kid. Yeah. I saw something about you had somebody getting ready to attempt the actual shooting on the synagogue. Now, this kid this was a regular white kid that was about to do this shooting.
He's Jewish. He was Jewish.
Oh, it's a Jewish kid.
Yeah, this is a Jewish kid, bro.
What?
He was about to synagogue, and I just retweeted that out. So ADL and Jewish community, what does your own people have to pay for being anti-Semitic to you and really threatening you? How much does he have to pay, and what rules does he have to abide by to come back into the community? See that?
Yo, I didn't know. I saw it.
His mama and his daddy and the rabbi. No smoke.
Okay, because
no letter saying, "Hey, we condemn this," even if it's our own people. None of that. All them landlords up in New York doing slum business. Not a word. But hey, my man tweets out a link, and y'all want to take that man's whole livelihood away. Yeah, all right.
Yo, I'm glad you said that because I saw, like I said, I saw that actual right before, like I was watching the news earlier, the CBS Evening News. I was just glancing at it. I wouldn't really say I was looking at it, but I glanced and I saw something that they had stopped. They stopped somebody from trying to do a mass shooting on a Jewish synagogue. And I saw it was a white kid. So I thought it was just a regular white kid or whatever. But damn, y'all said he was actually Jewish. That takes it to a whole nother level right there.
Yeah, Greenblatt was hoping it was a white boy. It was a white boy or a black person. He was hoping for it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now you don't hear them saying anything, the Defamation League saying anything about this whatsoever. They're not gonna say anything. I can tell you what, if you had a black kid that was about to a black man getting ready to go out there and shoot up one of these black churches, you have a bunch of black people condemning them. Like, I don't give a damn. Like hey, like you need your ass whooped. That's what people are gonna be saying, this and that or whatever. You need to go to jail and this and that. The fact, like I said, that Kyrie Irving, they still have this dude up here apologizing. And he just won't sit down. Like damn, man, you didn't apologize enough. There's nothing left to say. I mean, we get it. We get that these people are twisting your arm and they making you dance up here in front of everybody. Like they want to humiliate you. Now it's just a humiliation practice right now. It's like enough is enough. I think Kyrie, he would have got the ultimate respect had Kyrie just sat there. Like it was some reports at one time saying that, he's thinking about retiring and this and that. Had he told them people to kiss my ass, do a Jim Brown style back in the 1960s when Jim Brown went ahead and retired at his prime, when the Cleveland Browns were sitting up here and they talk about you can't make a movie and you got to be here and you got to do this, you got to do that, and you say kiss my ass, I'm out of here. That would have been something really, really that a lot of folks would have championed and whatnot. Go ahead, Ray.
I was just gonna say, as far as our black celebrities, I think Muhammad Ali is the only one that has said what he had to say and stood 10 toes down on it. Everyone else that I can think of at some point is giving some type of apology, except Mr. Farrakhan, obviously. But that's pretty, it's crazy that, all these hundreds of thousands of celebrities and black leaders and all those stuff that we've had, but we've only had literally a handful that said, fuck it, no, we're not apologizing. We said what we said.
Hey, Ray, my bad. I can't think of the brothers' names right now because I'm driving and working. But shout out to the track running Olympians of the Munich Games who held their fist up in the air when they was told not to. So them brothers still speaking out. They still alive and they still speaking out to this day. They just recently spoke at the last Olympic Games over the summer, man.
Yeah, I think you're talking about what is John Carlos and Tommy I can't think Tommy Smith. Yeah. Yeah, when they gave a black fist salute. Yeah, okay, yeah. Now, the funny thing about that is that at that same time during that Olympics, leading up to that Olympics, they tried to get O.J. Simpson to go ahead and also try to, boycott and this and that or whatever. But O.J. Simpson was like, hey, I'm O.J. I ain't getting involved in all of that kind of stuff right there. So, we always had our people like that, man, that think mainly about themselves or whatever. Like they think about their careers, they think about their money and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't think about your finances and your family's sake and this and that. I'm definitely not saying that, because when you go ahead and you cross mainstream media, there is a price to pay. I mean, you have to be willing to pay that price, because they will go ahead and they will, they will straighten you out. So you have to be willing. Muhammad Ali lost a lot of money. Muhammad Ali was never marketable in terms of endorsements after, battling the United States government. Muhammad Ali was hated by the majority of white folks in this country. Professor, you got it.
Y'all, that's the biggest problem right now in our society is that our black entertainers, athletes do not want to take a hit. They don't want to take that downfall, so they had to go on an apology tour like what Kyrie is doing and what Nick Cannon did. They can't just stand 10 toes down and be like Muhammad Ali. And you might have to lose some stuff. You might have to lose some of this stuff, man, because you're trying to fight for the rights of all of your people so your people can continue to rise to the top. That's what you're supposed to do. If you're going to be in that pinnacle of famous celebrities at the top of the pinnacle, where you are like a leader to your people. People look up to you because you have made it out. You have a platform. You also have a duty. Malcolm X would tell these celebrities right now. He would tell them, if he was here, he would say, man, you got a duty to be in a leadership and a platform to lead your people out of this mess. You got an opportunity to take your people and move them to other places. You can take your money, put it back into black causes, put it back into black businesses, help your community to expand, help your community to grow. But what do our celebrities do? They just sit around and cater to the goddamn conquerors. That's what they do. They cater to these folks. So this should tell us, the regular, common, everyday black American, that we can't depend on the people that are in the pinnacle at the top, like a Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley. We just can't depend on these folks, man. They get to the top and they say, "Oh shit, man, I ain't trying to get involved in none of that. I'm just trying to make sure I get me." This is what these folks do. But that's one thing about Muhammad Ali, man. They was coming for him, and he stood 10 toes down, and he said, "Nah, I'm not going to go serve in the white man's military. I'm not doing it. Damn it." And I love it, man, because that's what they supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do, man. You're supposed to be out there repping for your people, so your people can come up. I'm tired of looking at these damn celebrities that get all up on TV like the Shaquille O'Neals and Charles Barkley, and they coon for every goddamn body. That is sickening to me. I'm tired of that, looking at that shit. And these people make a lot of money off of their people. The community has helped them to get to where they are. And they spit on the community that has helped them to get to the pinnacle. Okay? I lay my plane right there.
All right, real quick, Kid Gravity, you go ahead and chime, and then Ray will let you go ahead and get up there next too. And anybody else in the space that want to go ahead, for those that, like I said, we're talking about Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley remarked that black people are the worst in terms of how they treat gay people. We had the Hebrew Israelites come out to the NBA arena where the Brooklyn Nets play at, protesting the treatment of Kyrie Irving. And we had Chuck Schumer basically saying that we're not making enough babies over here, so everybody that's illegal should be able to come over here. So those are the topics that we're talking about tonight. Anybody that wants to come up and speak, please go ahead, request the microphone and raise your hand, and we will allow you to come up and speak. Kid Gravity, you got it.
We shouldn't expect our celebrities to stand up in this day and age. Like you said, Professor, they have something to lose. But I lost a lot of respect for Charles Barkley and Shaq, and it mainly started with what they said about Trayvon Martin. They basically blamed that young man for his own death. And as much as I love the comedy and their charisma that they had on inside the NBA, that always stuck with me. And I could never look at them the same way again. Then they moved on to saying that basically those are the black grassroots. They don't understand what's going on out here. Now, they didn't say black grassroots like me, but they were alluding to it. That was during like the Baltimore stuff. Then we move on to Breonna Taylor, and they said what they said. Then I think it was Shaq who said something about George Floyd. So they've had a history with him, and they're not the only ones. You got Stephen A. Smith, same thing. They say this outlandish stuff, but at least with Stephen A. Smith in his case, you see he's calmed down on that anti-black rhetoric to a certain point because he doesn't do the lead jokes anymore. He doesn't go off on black athletes like he used to do because he damn near almost lost his job over I think what he said about Kevin Durant. Like they had to pull him aside, like, listen, between this and what you did with that white woman, you better chill. And you know, he was a good biscuit grubber, and you know, he got his contract. But we can't have these celebrities are not built like the ones in that golden age of the movie, the 70s, when they were still, you know, super pro-black. These new cats are just pro-black by convenience. And now that the money's rolling in and we're changing the narratives out here, they're getting exposed. So they said, I might as well just stay on the comb tree. So plus, I mean, when you rock with a group who endorses Michael Eric Dyson, yeah, I can't take you serious, but I'm gonna land there.
All right, brother, I appreciate that. And Shaq, when you constantly looking at all these endorsements that Shaq has and stuff like that, and I think a lot of people, you know, a few years ago when you had the whole NFL, the whole situation with the NFL, and you had the fallout with Papa John's, and Papa John's CEO was sitting up here talking about, you know, basically it was an NFL fault that Papa John's was losing money because, you know, you had the whole thing with Colin Kaepernick and everything else going on. And for the fact of the matter, I feel like, I guess when people felt that Shaq went ahead and he ran to take that position, like Shaq went up there and, you know, he didn't waste any time instead of, you know, creating his own piece of change because you got the name, you got the money, you got the influence, you got the charisma. You know what I'm saying? You're loved by so many people. Instead of doing that, Shaq went ahead, and Papa John's, really, a lot of black people have fallen out with Papa John's since. I think I may have eaten Papa John's once or twice because I thought the actual CEO was fired, but apparently he's still around or whatever. So you had a lot of people, you know, that just, you know, lost interest with actually with Papa John's like that. A lot of people was actually disappointed in Shaquille O'Neal. People like Shaquille because he's naturally charismatic. He's a big dude. He's a big kid and this and that. But at the same time, like you said, Kid Gravity, every time is something that's crucial that comes out in one of these situations. Barkley definitely goes ahead and he takes the actual opposite. Barkley is going to try to go as far from black people as possible. And sometimes you hear Shaq just going ahead chiming in with that kind of stuff as well, too. And you're like, well, wait a minute, man. Like, you know, I know Shaq's father was in the military and this and that. And sometimes you have black people that was raised by a military parent and stuff like that. A lot of them have that point of view and stuff like that, too. Like, they don't want to rock the boat either. So let's not, I mean, you got a lot of black folks that got a parent, they're military kids or whatever. They traveled and this and that, and people would say, well, they was disciplined and this and that, and they respect the country, whatever. But a lot of them really don't want to rock the boat when it comes to, you know, expressing views opposite of what people might consider anti-American as well. Sister Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic. Well, real quick, Ray, you want to say something real quick before Trouble comes on?
No, it was gonna be real quick. I was just gonna say, you know, I hate how you're trying to paint us as, you know, that we hate gay people because the black community is the most loving and accepting community that there really ever has been. I can recall, you know, when I was growing up in church, man, like our keyboard players and even now, I believe one of our pastors was open gay. So we always embraced the gay people. We didn't really care what you did, long as it was obviously wasn't affecting us. And I was always like we had this discussion yesterday. I was saying, like, I don't care about gay marriage as long as it doesn't affect me. But when you start affecting my children and things like that, then yes, I have a problem with it. But if you want to love whoever you is, I don't care. And it was one more thing I was going to say. But yeah, I'll just land with that because, you know, they're not going to try to paint us as being this hateful, homophobic, you know, anti-Semitic and all this other stuff. They got all these labels for us, but we can't label them anything. The people that want to put labels on us, we can't put labels on them. And like I said before, for the people that weren't in the space earlier, Charles Barkley, this dude, he spit on an 8-year-old years ago. This dude right here has been on some bullshit. But, you know, I don't know what's going on with him. I'll say this. Him, Stephen A. Smith, and all these other Sambos, these people sit down somewhere, man. They do not speak for us. Most of them, they ain't even from here. But they want to speak up, bro. Like the old saying goes, all skin folk ain't kin folk.
You got it, Sister Trouble. Go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. How's everybody in the group tonight? Shout out to the host. Shout out to the speakers. I hope everyone's doing well.
What up, Sister Trouble?
Hey, trouble. Hey, what's going on, Professor? I haven't been in here long, so I don't know if the points I'm about to make is the same points everyone else has made. Ray just pretty much summed up a lot of what I was getting ready to say on the Charles Barkley incident. It's a travesty and a shame that every single pundit that we have on TV and have had for a long period of time doesn't speak truth to power. They always get up there and emulate white thoughts, and they always speak out against the black community. It's sad that every time you turn around, we're anti-Semitic. We're anti-LGBT. We're anti-Asian. We're anti-everything. And I don't see this happening to any other group. And it's like they refuse to see, or at least they refuse to acknowledge how these other groups have been vexing us. And I really can't. It boils my. I couldn't believe. I said, here comes the agenda. And I used to love Michael Eric Dyson because he's so intellectual. He used to, at times, get up there. This was years ago when Tavis Smiley was, on, and they would actually speak some truth up in there. And then it's like something clicked, and they started talking in a different direction. So Michael Eric Dyson gets up there, and first he comes on with the toxic masculinity. What the hell is toxic masculinity? Being a man, not being girly, not being feminine? And then next thing you know, right after his comment, here comes them asking Barkley and Charles, Barkley and Charles, Lord, they the same clown. Barkley and Shaq like to chime in too about black people being anti-LGBTQ. In the black community, they've always been where? We've always known who our gays was in the community. We've always known, and they've always been there. Where is this narrative coming, and why are our own people continuing to push the same narrative, making us look bad? And it's like we have no answer. We don't have a platform on the level of the MSM to be able to counter any of this. And if by chance one of us gets up there and is able to counter some of those points, they get to counter it for a short period of time, and they quickly go to commercial, and when they come back, they own something different. We have got to figure out a way how we can start countering these clowns, because it's getting to be ridiculous. And I don't know how to do it. I mean, I've thrown my ideas out there about us getting together, pulling our funds together so we can start running ads on every platform there is in America. Radio stations across the nation, social media, every damn thing, television, whatever. I don't know how much that stuff comes. I can ever believe it costs a little change. But we have got to figure out and got to come together as a community, because we love to say we're not monolithic, but baby, monolithic money matters.
Real talk there, sister. And I just want to know, I want them to point out to me one time, and Kid Gravity, I'm going to kick it to you. When has there ever been a time where you had a black person go on a mass shooting spree and target gay people and kill gay people simply because they're gay? I mean, maybe this has happened in my lifetime. I don't know about it, but I'm trying to figure out, when has it been a time where you had black people go up in a club or a restaurant or any place where you had a gathering and say, oh, it's a bunch of gay people in here, I'm going to kill me some gay people tonight. I'm just, maybe I missed that, but if I have somebody in the space, please go ahead and let me know. Kid Gravity, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Go ahead, Trouble.
I was just going to say, you haven't missed it. It's never happened. There's never been an incident like that. We don't go after other groups as a whole. We go in on individual fuckery. If we mess around and hurt somebody, never gonna believe they did something, or maybe, we've had people that, want to shoot somebody over $5. That's, unfortunate. Got that in every group. But we've never, as a collective, gone after another group as a whole on some mass shooting stuff. I think we had that one black man some years ago, him and his stepson, that was out there in the woods murking people.
They were talented.
Oh, okay, and see, there you go. But we've never, as a collective, gone after. There's not even individual ones of us too much have went after groups like that. We handle it on an individual basis. If you catch a brother slipping and he done got you in the hotel and he thought you was a woman and you turned around and whipped out something bigger than his and you got clapped,
Yeah, that whole changing your birth certificate stuff don't make any sense to me right there. I don't know what the hell we doing here. That's another thing that has me kind of a little bit. Yeah, but it also has me a little bit leery too. When this reparation thing really do finally kick out, you're gonna have a whole bunch of $half-dollar black people running around here, black Americans and stuff. You're gonna have white folks running around here talking about they great grandmama was half Negro and all this other nonsense and stuff like that. I don't even, I'm not cool with that right there. You've been white your whole life or whatever, and then it's gonna get to the point that now all of a sudden you can sit up here and talk about you black. So that all this change in your birth certificate.
It was a white man on the post the other night talking about his third grandfather removed was slave. Like, you a whole crap.
Like, you have to say, damn, so what?
What you say, Kid Gravity? I'm sorry.
You just tell him, so what?
Oh yeah, you tell them so what? But like I say, when the reparation thing started rolling and stuff, and Kid Gravity, I believe you from Jamaica. Your people from Jamaica, right?
My people from Jamaica. I'm trying to get y'all blueprint because England, Asia, goddamn the Dutch, the French, the Spanish, they owe me a whole lot of money. That's
what I'm saying. Because then you'll have the ones down there in the island and stuff too that they'll use that blueprint worldwide and stuff like that. You'll have a bunch of them on the island up there talking about, yeah, well, back in the 18th century, 19th century, we had black people in our family and we just as black as y'all and stuff like that. Like, nah, man, that birth certificate, you leave that damn birth certificate alone, okay? Your ass is white. Your ass is a man. Your ass is a woman. You're not switching all of this stuff up here. Now you're sitting up here talking about now you can just pick and choose what you are. You born an 8-pound, 9-ounce boy, and all of a sudden now you're a girl. I mean, come on.
They're gonna learn, brother. They're gonna learn in a couple of years because see what they fail to realize is freedmen, they've been sitting there establishing the groundwork. They've been establishing the rules for reparation. It's not like now that the talks have been accelerated, now they want to lay down. They've been saying how you guys are going to get it done. If you were not black on your birth certificate, on red for 10 years at least, or you identified as black for 10 years, you ain't getting it. If you can't trace your people back to the 1870s and the plantations, you're not getting it. Ain't nobody gonna try to tell you, oh, well, my family came over on the boat. Yeah, the boat, but the boat had a company, it was called Carnival, my nigga. We're not doing this. Your family came over on a plane. Go get your money from the people up north from you. That's called Europe. Go over to the Northeast, go to Asia, get your money. It's not that hard. And that's what I told my people. Listen, the queen's dead. Go get your money. Nah, they still want to. They want to be down there partying and bullshit. All right. Now the Mexicans are taking over Jamaica. Have fun.
Wait, hold on. Is Mexicans taking over Jamaica now?
Yes, sir.
Oh my Lord! What are we doing here, people?
A lot of them, remember back in 2018. Remember when Trump said that we're gonna start deporting everybody? A lot of them left because I was working in a restaurant trade up in New York. A lot of them left, and they tried to go over to what they call it. Central America and South America, they got kicked out. So their only recourse was to go to Jamaica because DR was not accepting. And they started making themselves a little nice living over there. Now they're starting to take over.
What are we doing as a people here?
Indians, they got to go deal with the Mexicans now. And the Haitians. But they got the smoke for the Haitians. They got the smoke for the other three.
It just goes to show that globally, man, worldwide, black people need to get their shit together. I mean, they really, really need to get their shit together. It's no reason that you shouldn't have black Americans and you shouldn't have the Caribbean right here where we should all be trading with each other right now. Have some kind of a trade investment group and whatnot. Y'all in the islands, we shipping stuff to one another and we got an actual business going on. And definitely the Caribbean, Haiti, Jamaica, the Bahamas, all of those nations down there should be trading with each other the same way they do in Asia and Europe and stuff like that. Got to go ahead, man. You got to go ahead and get this thing straightened out here. Get it together, y'all. We sitting up here, and like you say, y'all, the damn British owe y'all, the Spanish owe, but they owe us as well too. Because one thing we say, the United States owes us. The United States owes us. Great Britain owes us. Spain owes us. France owes us, depending on what part of this country we're in. Because if you're part of that Louisiana Purchase and whatnot, yeah, France owes you as well too.
Israel owes us the most. They invested in all this slave shit. Let's get it.
Well, now that's going to be another discussion there, because with Israel and whatnot. Now, if you talk about the Jewish people, and let's not say that word too loud, because last time they shut the damn space down when we started talking about them. But I'm not even sure Israel as a nation wasn't even formed at the time that you had the slave trade, was it?
Bro, they funded the slave trade, bro. The Jewish people, look it up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying as a nation, Israel itself. Israel, as we know it, or whatever, the Israel that's over there in the Middle East now.
The answer would be no to that. But still, they still funded the slave trade, though. Parts of it, you know, man.
Hey, news. It was there. It was just in shambles, but it still existed.
Black Pressure, go ahead, bro. I know you had your hand up as well too, and thank everybody coming into space. And let me just say, for everybody coming into space, y'all go ahead and retweet the space out. Y'all know I'm still serving that Twitter suspension. I can't tweet it out, so y'all go ahead and help us by tweeting the space out. Also, if you're coming in, we're talking about Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley sat up there and told people that black people are the most LGBTQ people in the world. Basically, we have the Hebrew Israelites that got together, had a protest around the actual Barkley Center where the Brooklyn Nets play at in support of Kyrie Irving. Unfortunately, our brother Kyrie Irving has been on an apology tour because he wants to get out there and dribble that basketball in the hard court. So we need y'all to go ahead and tweet the space out. We're also talking about Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer sat up here and he's talking about that we need to go ahead and allow all of the illegal immigrants to become actual citizens and stuff now, because we have a population problem at 330 some odd million people in this country, one of the largest countries in the world. We have a population problem. We're not, I guess, apparently having enough babies and whatnot. We're not up there with China and India. So apparently we have us a big problem going on. So you guys go ahead. I see a couple of people losing connection and whatnot. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic. Then Ray, we'll get to you.
What's up, Black family? News, Ray, DJ, what's up?
What's going on, bro?
I'm just gonna say to Kid Gravity, if like Killer Calm ever jump off, hey man, the whole world gonna have to write Jamaica a check. The Caribbean period. I mean, every European country plus Africa, they gonna have to write Jamaica a check, man. Yeah, Jamaica gonna get broke off if they ever get it together. But I say this too, man. I know me and DJ was chopping it up, and I know he's still mad, at how them Astros and came in there and just took that thing from the Phillies like that. I know you hate, but you'll get over it, man. But I was saying, did you see what that Klansman in that wheelchair did down at the border in the state I live in? How he sent them tanks down there?
Yeah, I saw it. I gotta go back and look at it, but unfortunately, I'm a Yankees nigga, so I'm extra mad at y'all Astros.
You like that sweet vibe, but yeah, man, I tried to send it to a few people I deal with on a regular basis, but if you had checked it out, Greg Abbott actually sent tanks to the border, and he was like, look, and like I say, let me personal with this, I know a lot of people like to not hear what I say. Greg Abbott is a Klansman on wheels, but I do like his stance on immigration, so I'm just saying, if y'all hadn't checked that out, how he sent some tanks down, y'all can Google that or YouTube that, and I'll land my plane and jump back up later.
Hey, shout out to Dusty Baker. Got that world chip. I appreciate that, black man, but fuck the Astros. Fine. Shout out to Texas.
Sister Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I just wanted to speak on the Chuck Schumer situation. I was looking online earlier, and I seen where Kevin McCarthy, I don't like that fool either, but Kevin McCarthy was saying if he make it into, as the speaker, the first thing he's getting ready to do is to get rid of Chuck Schumer, Elon, Omar, and if the third person, 3 people off, he was getting ready to knock them all off the committees that they're on. So whatever it is Chuck Schumer is trying to do, he's probably trying to hurry up and do it before, Kevin McCarthy get up there. So Schumer turned around and made a statement saying, well, basically he would expect him to do something like that because he's listening to Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's listening to the lower level people in the party, so he would expect that. You can say what you want to say, but if you're talking about doing what it is that we're talking about now, that you're trying to do these immigrants, and yeah, go ahead and get that sucker out by the tank.
Hey, DJ, hold it down for me for 1 second, all right?
Handle the business, brother. What's going on tonight, family? What's good, Ray? What's good, Sister Trouble? What's good, Black Pressure, Black Majority, Mr. Zell, Carissa? I see y'all down there. All our folks down in the chat got us. Val, what's going on, family? So at the end of the day, you right on that one, Trouble, 100%. You know what I mean? Real shit. Schumer, his ass need to go. I don't know why he trying to get these folks up here, embedded into the country. We need to find a way to, stop that from happening for the most part. But go ahead, Black Pressure.
Now, I was telling him, DJ, I know you went in the space a little earlier, so they're telling us that they need all these people to come in because we aren't reproducing, but at the same damn time, they're pushing abortions. That
right,
makes
I heard
no
that.
sense.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, no, I heard that for Chuck Schumer. I'm watching the news, international news, U.S. news, any type of political news every day. So I've been heard that Jewish person, you know what I'm saying? Which Schumer is, you know what I mean? And your niece Amy Schumer, she ain't that funny. She don't need 20 million versus Monique, but that's another story too, though. But at the end of the day, man, yeah, why is this man saying that when you got able-bodied people that been here? But the whole reason what we fail to realize too is the reason why they letting these folks into the country like that, because when this COVID hit, and then they realized they was just giving fucking regular people this $600 a week. I benefited from it. Shout out to the unemployment. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. So if the average Joe did not receive unemployment during this planned pandemic, therefore meaning the landlord still wanted to rent. So you had to go figure out real quick how to make $15, $20, $30 an hour. So once the average folks that ain't never had to hustle like that day in their life, once they put this shit 2 and 2 together, oh, this shit add up to 3, man. I ain't never going back to work. It's over. You know what I mean? So now they importing all these folks in here who are willing to work for cheap labor anyway and using them to replace us and average white Americans that's been here completely out of the system. They don't care what happened to us. That's why you see a lot of white folks now coming into our spaces trying to figure out what the hell's going on, yeah? Because they've been sleeped and privileged their whole fucking life. So
when he say we not making enough babies, what he mean is them. There's not a we situation. It's a y'all ass ain't making babies.
And we know about the white birth rate is low here in this country. You know what I'm saying? But back to what you're saying about the abortions, this is why black women don't abort your soldiers. You know what I'm saying? For real, we need everybody on deck. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. And shout out to Brother McCool. He just had a little baby girl. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Congratulations to that brother.
Yeah. Shout out to Brother McCool on that. But go ahead, Black Pressure. Go ahead.
Now, y'all took all my talking points. I'm going to drop back down. I was going to say everything y'all just said.
Miss Giselle, what's going on, sister? Let me let y'all know too about I'll be back on, like I say, Wednesday. I should be back tweeting out the news and stuff like that. So y'all make sure go ahead and hit your notifications for Newstoter, y'all, because I'm gonna be on a tear when it comes back. I know we got Thanksgiving coming up and this and that, but I ain't tweeted out nothing and it seemed like forever. So put your notifications on so you can go ahead and stay up to date on the content, because I'm gonna be on the tear when I get back on here. Go ahead, Miss Giselle.
Yeah, I was just gonna add that it wasn't the fact that they, when COVID hit, they gave us money. It wasn't anything like that. A lot of the billionaire platforms like Amazon and things, they don't care about the effects economically. They care about how much money they can make out of all of these, out of every country they're in, from every source that they can take the funds from. And I've even heard, I think the guy's name, Jeff. What's the guy that's in charge of Amazon? I forget.
Bezos.
I keep. I don't want to mess it up and sound all ridiculous on a recorded platform. Yeah, but he actually he said it out of his mouth. He said, "I don't care what happens to anybody. I don't care who's poor, who's rich. All he cares about is his bag." So it wasn't about that. The biggest thing that happened was that the massive death from them, what they call the Great Reset, which is really what I'm starting to learn is more to do with, or in addition to what they claim it is it has a lot to do with replacing the working class, like as we've discussed on most of these platforms. But it's also a major part to do with erasing the wasted class. The wasted class, they look at us as the wasted class, like we're done. This group, they're fighting back. They want to be paid, and it's not going to be like they don't want us to, be at this point. They know that we're facing zero wealth. 50 billion platforms in 2017 came out and said it. So they already know we're at the end of this. And as long as everybody's still asleep, their goals can be met and will be further displaced and erased. And the next time we look up, our voices is not even going to matter because it's going to be submerged underneath all of these different populations. And then once we're all done or like reduced to the point and where they can really control and it's a minimal effect, then they'll push the rest of these people back out the country, go back to their racist behavior, dealing with us. But what we need to do is look at this system and start, like even with the Great Migration, if a lot of people aren't going to the States like the Black majority always talk about, it's time for us to at least locally start getting those like-minded individuals. We have to get back out to our communities, getting people on code with what we have. If they got a task force that's happening in the state, see what you can do to help that task force if you're really serious about this fight. And that's how we win. But this country was not worried about they're gonna lose $1,200. They're giving $1,200 for the next 18 months to people who decide to transition over in San Francisco. So I digress.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate you coming up here speaking tonight. As always, Miss Giselle. Let me see who's next. Black Pressure. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, News, I wanted to come over the top of Miss Giselle. She said something that's very true about the erasure. Sorry, DJ touched on it too. The white people are really, and this is not the first iteration of them trying to literally erase us off the face of the earth. But if it's not clear to anybody, and I'm talking about if you start from the beginning of history to now, white people, what these people have, they've enslaved us once, they've enslaved us twice. The third time they enslaved us, they crossed the water. These people poisoned us. These people did the most brutal scientific experiments on us. These people tried to erase our history. These people did. They weaponized all their institutions against us. They even now are attacking our children. And if it's not obvious, I'll say it right now. And this means a lot coming from me, a very non-religious person. But if it's not obvious to not just black people, but everybody else on the face of the earth, black people are literally invincible. We are really God's children, period. And like I say, that means a lot coming from a person who does not shy about being non-religious. But these people will never get it. You can never erase us. You can't wipe us off the face of the earth. You did everything in the world you could to us, and we still multiply. So it's really just a exercise in futility to me that white people even continue this quote unquote erasure against us. And I'll land my plane.
To be truthful, bro, I don't think they really want to. I think at one time they maybe wanted to get rid of us, but I think they actually enjoy being able to control us and stuff. I don't think they really want to wipe us out because I think they feel like it's a certain balance that you have to have us on the planet and stuff like that. So their main thing is as long as we can go ahead and neutralize them and control them and stuff like that, hey, we don't give a damn. Like as long as we in charge and we running everything, they can go ahead, they can outnumber us and they can everything else. As long as we have the guns, we have the weapons, we have the finances and everything else, let them go ahead and do what they got to do. But we can keep them here. Look at Africa. Look at Africa and all the resources they got there. And who has control of those resources? Even in South Africa and stuff, no matter, even if they're outnumbered and stuff. And that's one thing a lot of people over here in America say, well, in 2040, they'll be the minority. And they don't care if they're the minority.
They already are the minority in the earth. you're the minority.
That's what I'm saying. So they don't like they've been the minority. They've always been the minority from the time they came out of Europe. They were the minority on Earth, but that just made them. Hey, that's one thing that I'll say that did make them say, hey, we got to stick together. This world here, look at all these different people on here and this and that. We got to make sure we got everything straight or whatever. They don't give a damn about that. That's something that we need to learn as a people, and that's something that escapes us. They don't give a damn about being a minority. These white folks sitting up here saying how they can go ahead. Why you think they traveling out of space and stuff? They're trying to see how we can go ahead and colonize damn outer space next. How we can go ahead and set up colonies on the moon and Mars and all these other different planets and stuff like that. Once we go ahead and we run everything up out of this country, out of this world and stuff, we jack it up the way we've been jacking it up. Let's go ahead and go someplace else and colonize it and rule it and everything else. That's what they're looking at.
You want to know what I said? I said something similar to what you're saying, because the United States government, especially the military, isn't just going to create, a branch called the Space Force for shits and giggles. They found something that they don't want us to know about, and they're trying to get ahead of us. Like I said, it costs a whole hell of a lot of money to start a whole new branch of of the military. Like I said, the Space Force ain't just come out of nowhere, and I feel in time we're gonna find out what was the reason behind it.
Absolutely.
Ray, you putting your tinfoil kufi on?
I think they enjoy making us, keeping us as a permanent underclass, as a permanent bottom class, because as long as we're all the way at the bottom, then it's truly easy to control us.
That's my thing. I was going to touch on that with what News said. Everything you said was true, but it's past time for us to trade places with these white folks. They didn't have the number one spot long enough.
It's like the old saying goes, or if you want to trade spots, they're not going to just give it up. So you got to bring ass to get ass. So, I mean, we sit up here, you talking about these people here for the past 500 years, they've been pretty much running the show. So they're not just going to give anything up without a damn fight. So that's one thing, like I say, and they understand that. That's one reason why you have to go ahead and keep this confusion, and you got to keep them disorganized and stuff like that. Because that's one thing we don't think about either. Like people, we're in the United States and we have the most powerful military in the world and this and that or whatever. But a military, let's be for real. Anytime that you have a population of people in a nation or whatever, if they really got their heads on straight and they really want to go ahead and do something, they can do it, even with the most powerful military. And I ain't finna go too deep because I know this space being recorded and whatnot. And I know how these folks are and stuff. But I mean, you got to be realistic and whatnot. Rome and all these other nations and stuff, the people, when they got fed up and stuff like that, there's nothing you can do about it, man. I mean, you can have all of the army and this and that or whatever, and the military, and you can have the biggest might in the world or whatever, but there's 300 and some odd million people in this nation. How many people you think are actually serving in the military and law enforcement? Even if you say we got 2, 3, 4, 5 million, hey, 300 and some odd million goes into 5 million as many times over as it wants to. Miss Giselle, go ahead and unmute your mic, sister.
Yeah, Tyler, you said something, and I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on because I've always felt like this. I believe in karma, the power of it anyway, and I believe that they understand that there is a certain level of balance. That's why they had to influence us to kill ourselves. When they were killing us, we was multiplying. Remember this saying, "Oh, for baby kids, we don't die, we multiply." They would kill us, and it would be hundreds of us born. Once we started getting killed, or like doing all of this killing to ourselves, you notice how they've been talking about how our population is going down, like decreasing, which is, which we never really had a population issue without their influence. I believe, like on a spiritual realm, I think there's something there with what you said, but I don't want to get all into spookism. But just saying, karma is real. You can do something, and you get good stuff that come right back to you. You can do something else messed up, and that bad karma come right back to you. But I do believe in karmatic energy, and I think that they understand that level of things. And this is why instead of running through our neighborhoods and shooting us, they go through our neighborhoods and they drop off gun boxes, so that people can shoot themselves, not just because it's to prevent collateral damage. They don't need all eyes on government, right? But because when we are executing ourselves, that's like a hate for us. Like this is a us thing, and I think we have to be held accountable for that. But even with our fight through slavery, even with our reparations fight, they actually caused this financial issue. So what they do, they try to go and cover up that karma or like balance it out by giving the resources to somebody else, uplifting somebody else in another space. They did something to somebody else, so they'll do something good for them. That'll balance out the karma a little bit, but it's still this karma. The bad karma is still tilting very low on their side, and I just no way for them to reverse it. I think they dug themselves too deep, and we can rise up. That's why it's important for us not to fall in the negative realm. But anyway, I'll end with that.
Appreciate that, sister. Black Pressure, I know you had your hand up. Before I get to you real quick, support us on Cash App. That's $ Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned news curation platform today in America, the largest Black American news-owned curation platform today in America. And you can support us on Cash App. That's $ Newstoter. Black Pressure, go ahead and take the mic again. I know you had your hand up.
Since Ray started it, I'm gonna put on my 10-4 Koofy for just a couple of seconds. So I'm about to show my age. So I think this movie came out the very end of the 70s or the top side of the 80s. There's a couple of movies. If you are in my age bracket, you remember a movie called Invasion of the Body Snatchers, or you remember a movie called The Thing. I think The Thing came out in the yeah, you already know. But like I said, I'm gonna put on my 10-4 Koofy. I know everybody, all the Black family has said this because I've said it. We've asked this question, we had these conversations before. When you see Hispanic people, come to America, you see Asian people come to America, you even see Middle Eastern come to America. I always say, well, why these motherfuckers always marry these white folks, man? Every time you look up, they get with these white people and have kids with these white people. Just like in those movies I referenced, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Thing. For that thing to continue, it had to take a host and become that thing. And like some of the sisters said earlier, DJ touched on it, Ray touched on it. You throw in the negative birth rate, those white people know if they depend on themselves, their bloodline won't continue. So like I say, you always see these white people, they always are going to invade someone else's bloodline, and you see it. Like I say, I've said this, all these other groups come out here and the first thing they do is have kids with the white folks, with the white supremacy is clever. Like I say, they know they have to do that to continue, and I'll take my 10-4 Koofy off and land there.
Appreciate you, Black Pressure, on that. Like I say, for any of you guys that just came into the space, we've been talking about Charles Barkley. We've been talking about the Hebrew Israelites, and we've been talking about Chuck Schumer. Charles Barkley, for those that didn't get a chance to catch it as we've been discussing, he's been talking about the treatment that Black people seem to treat the gay people worse than any other group. We have the Hebrew Israelites and their defense of Kyrie Irving coming protesting at the place where the Brooklyn Nets play at, and we have Chuck Schumer, as you hear everybody in here talking about birth rates and stuff like that of that nature, because Chuck Schumer is basically trying to imply that we can't make enough babies over here in America, so we need to go ahead and allow 11 million illegal, and that's a small number, at least 11 million immigrants that came over here illegally, and make them American citizens, give them a path to citizenship, even though they came illegally in the country, and that will solve all of our ills in terms of having children. In fact, I mean, I'm sure if we were actually, I'm not looking at Google, anything like that, but I'm pretty sure that America, in terms of actual population, has got to be a top 10 nation. I can think offhand that you maybe have 4 or 5. I would say China, I would say India, Russia, And I would think that the U.S. would probably be next in terms of actual population or something. You're talking about 330 some odd million people here. So we got to at least be a top 5 nation in terms of population. Ray, if you get a chance, fact check that. Just see what the United States population is. So the fact of the matter that you're sitting up here talking this nonsense, man, talking about that we have to have illegals come over here. See what the U.S. is in terms of number. Are we like the 4th, 5th largest country in terms of population in the world? I know we're a top 5, top 6 type nation in terms of population. If you get a chance, take a look and see exactly where we're at in terms of our population. I would think that, we have China.
Like 320, 330 million people, something like that.
Yeah, but see if we I know we got to be a top 10, because offhand I could think that China, India, Russia, they're larger than us in terms of actual population, but there can't be many nations larger than the U.S. in terms of our population, because hell, everybody in the world wants to come here and live. So all of this nonsense sitting up here talking about we got to have the immigrants come here and this, no, man, your party needs it, and we keep saying this, your party needs an immigrant so you don't have to worry about some ingrate black folks sitting up here crying to you about being treated fairly. You want to go ahead and you want to put this black issue to bed for once and for all. And your black people in the Democratic Party don't seem to understand this. So they're going to sit up here and they're going to vote for this nonsense right here. You should not be voting to have a bunch of people overrun the border. If people want to come here legally, if you say, well, I support legal immigration, there still needs to be things done about legal immigration. There needs to be a cap on legal immigration as well, too. Like I said, you got a country that's soon approaching 400 million people here. So even legal immigration needs to have a big time cap. And a bunch of illegals coming over here, you can't, nobody in this space can go to Great Britain or Germany, any of these places tomorrow, just enter their country illegally and start getting benefits and not wind up in a damn in prison somewhere. But you can come to America and you can do that. Ray, go ahead. You got your hand up.
So for what you were asking, is China, India, United States, Indonesia, and then Pakistan rounds off the top 5.
So please knock off the nonsense, man. Sitting up here talking about we need a bunch of illegals to come over here. So because our population is in decay and decline and all this other nonsense, this is complete horse hockey that we talking about here. There's no damn decline. What are we talking about? What was that, Ray?
We just hit 8 billion people was born, what that have been born in this world. We just went over 8 billion. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the worldometer. It shows like the world population. How many people were born today? How many people died today? And population growth. The population has grown by almost 150,000. And that's just today. I don't know what they talking about.
Think about this here, man. If you let everybody that wants to come into the United States of America come over here and live, you have over 1 billion people. You have more people here than you have in China and India and in these other places. So you can't let any and everybody, man. The United States can go ahead and they can go ahead and set up partnerships with these people, trading things and this and that or whatever. Go ahead and start helping these people, since you take and steal so much from some of their nations. Go ahead and provide some infrastructure to them so these people can go back to their countries and they can actually live in their countries and support themselves over there, them and their families and stuff like that. But no, every single solitary person on earth cannot live in the United States of America. That's not possible. That's not feasible. That's not going to happen. That's not a good thing. You can't sit up here and bring every single solitary person here. And then you can't sit up here and let people that just decide one day I'm going to walk over this border and come here and live here and sit up here and say, okay, well, we'll take tangibles away from actual citizens that's been here for hundreds of years. We'll go ahead and we'll cut programs and stuff like that, or we'll extend programs, or we'll do this and that so we can go ahead and take care of you. That just doesn't work. That's not something that could be sustainable. It makes no sense. You got it, Ray.
I was just gonna say, when you really think about it, these people broke the law coming here. They literally violated our country's laws, and they're being rewarded for it with citizenship.
Damn right, they broke the laws.
What other country would do that? Makes no sense on its face by itself.
Like I say, let you go to Great Britain tomorrow. Let you go to China tomorrow, or go to Japan or any of these other countries. Go there, come in there legally with your kids and stuff like that, and see if they're gonna have a place to put up for you to live at, and they're gonna provide insurance for you, and they're gonna feed you, and they're gonna clothe you, and they're going to educate you. I mean, what are we talking about here, man? You can't do this right here. That's just not. I mean, you don't want to be hard to people. You don't want to be nasty to people, and this and that. And that's the bad thing is about when you start saying that this is a nation full of immigrants and this and that, whatever. People feel like, and because that line has been told to everybody, people feel like no matter where I'm in the world, I can come over to the United States of America. I can live, and it's the land of milk and honey. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic, sister.
What they should have said is this is a land full of illegals, because that's what they are. Even the white people that's here, y'all are illegals. Y'all came over here and stole some stuff. Came over here illegally. You know, it's going to be hard getting our people to move away from a certain mindset, especially when it comes to the immigrants. Just like it is to get them to see about to change their mindset on how they see. I guess for immigrants as a whole, no matter what community they come from, even the ones that look like us, because a lot of times, like my family in Boston, they've been living around for so long, they see them as one people, and so talking to them a lot of times it's hard, because it's like, well, we all kind of help each other out, and I'm sitting there looking at the situation like, no, you don't. All of these different immigration groups, they all stay in their own little cliques. They look at you like you stupid when you come in. They smile when you spending your money, but if you come inside their business and you ain't spending enough money, they immediately have an attitude. There was a woman that I've been friends with for a while, and so we're following each other here on Twitter, and she was agreeing with somebody that she doesn't understand what's wrong with a certain sect of the black people that's on Twitter, because I get that, immigration is a big topic, but since when did black people start, not wanting to help some people? Surely we have enough room here to help some people. So I was sitting there looking at it like, you still don't get it. And maybe it's hard for us because we've always been taught, to love everybody, especially those who, have been done a particular way, because we were looking at it from a different perspective of, well, it's us against the white man, so we're not going to do the same thing to other groups as the white man has done to us. But that was to our detriment. We just didn't realize that in time. So now we're actually looking at it different, like it really doesn't benefit us. As a whole, we're being replaced, removed, erased. And it's still hard to get, especially the older, and I hate to say it because I always fight against people talking about, I don't do the elder slander, but it really is hard, especially with a lot of our older generation folks and with people who have lived in cities that's, pretty much filled with, like the Boston area. It has an extremely large population of immigrants. And they've been living around with the Black Americans for so long, it's hard getting those type of people to move to a different mindset, to see something different, because people are just going with the flow. And it really comes down to an individualistic mindset where people are still looking at things from, well, I got to do what I got to do for me and mine, rather than this is how our collective needs to move. And until we come off of Twitter and get more people in our surrounding areas to start really understanding the dynamics, we are forever going to be a detriment to our own selves. So I don't know what y'all think about that, but
I think it's time that we prioritize ourselves first and foremost. You're right. For years we've been told that, and some of that has to do with, for like you say, with trying to fight against white supremacy and thinking that these other groups are going to come over here and we can ally up. And part of it is just our nature makeup, that we've always been the type of people that, hey, if we see somebody that's down and out, downtrodden, that we'll go ahead and we'll extend that hand and try to help them out. Another part of it is also religion and this and that as well, too. So it's just time, man. I'm sorry. These other groups think about themselves first and foremost. There's nothing wrong with thinking about ourselves. You see, when you go ahead and you do extend an olive branch to a lot of these other groups, the first thing they start sitting up here talking about is why you can't pull yourself up. We just been over here for a generation. We better than you, and we this and we that, and yada, 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 yada. It's time to go ahead, man, and solely focus on Black Americans. Focus on Black Americans first. Then we can focus on the black people that's in the diaspora that want to go ahead and unite with us and do things as well too. But we have to go ahead and we got to concentrate on ourselves first and foremost. If we don't, we're going to continue to just sink behind every other group. So we got to go ahead and look after ourselves, because every group, Hispanics, Asians, whites, Arabs, you name it, every group that comes over here. That's one reason why these groups are able to go ahead and start, they'll live with each other and they'll save money and they'll start businesses and everything else. They have their own enclaves and stuff like that. They go ahead and they start thinking about how we can better ourselves by sticking together. We have to think like that. We're not even sticking together as a people. We're so individualistic. We think about trying to go ahead and do things for ourselves instead of doing things as a group. And because we think like that, at one time we did not think like that, but we think like that now. These other groups are thinking they're thinking, together. So that's a disadvantage that we have. We have to think about ourselves. We have to think about our community. First and foremost, self-preservation. You have to think about yourself first and foremost. Okay. Then you have to think about those closest to you, your immediate family, because you have to think about yourself, your kids, your wife, your family, your mother, your dad, your brothers, your sisters. You got to think about everything. There's always steps and progressions of everything. Okay. If you're living out there on the street and you eating out of a garbage can, you can't sit up here and take what little bit you have and give it to somebody else. That's just not going to work. That's not feasible. That's not intelligent. Even in families, we think about our family first and foremost, but we have a hierarchy of people that we think about first and foremost. Our kids are going to be number one. Okay. Our kids and our spouse are going to be number one. And then we're going to think about our mothers, our parents, our fathers, our brothers and our sisters, our grandparents, our cousins, our aunts, our uncles, and stuff like that. We have to think like this. That's not being nasty. That's not being rude. That's just being the way it is. These agents have showed you with affirmative action and they told you to kiss their ass, okay? They went over here and they have benefited from the civil rights movement, and they sitting up here talking about how they can go ahead and destroy affirmative action because they're so smart. There's so much geniuses and this and that, and they're being discriminated against or whatever. You have Frederick Douglass, who was no more than a slave up here trying to go ahead and help these people when they got over here about the treatment that the Chinese were getting. Now you got all these Asian groups and stuff over here talking about, hey, they think that you're an a-hole if you don't come to their stores, and the black women don't come and support them and buy the hair care products, and we don't eat their food and this and that. This is an unfair trade advantage that we're having with people right here. These people, all they're doing is giving us stuff, and we're not getting anything in return. We're not trading with these other groups. We go and we're the consumers. They don't come to our restaurants. They don't come to our stores. The only thing they might do is buy some rap music or something like that. And who owns rap music? We don't even own rap music. We don't own these distribution labels. All of these black artists you see, barely any of them own their own publishing. So what are we talking about? The radio stations that play it. We don't own these radio stations. We don't own these TV stations. They might go out there and they might buy an athlete. They might buy LeBron James jersey. LeBron James don't own that jersey. The NBA and the actual team he plays for owns that jersey. So they're not supporting us or anything, but we're told to support them. And if we don't support them, like when they had the whole thing with the anti-Asian, they kept showing black people beating up Asians on TV and this and that. Then you had the one girl on The View or whatever, the Jenny Ma sitting up here talking about, well, blacks and Asians have always had a relationship, and you come to our stores and you buy from our businesses. Yeah, we come to your stores and we buy from your goddamn businesses. Okay. We are your customer base, and that's how you look at us, as your customer base. And we've been told by everybody, including black people, because black people are the first people to run up here, run their mouth about, well, that ain't right. We've always looked out for any and everybody, and we all in this together, and everybody had a hard time over here. And all them people did was come over here for a better life, and you can't get mad at them people because they made something out of themselves, and they send their kids to school, and they keep their nose clean, and they keep their kids from all out there in the street. Black folks can do the same thing. Man, if you don't take that nonsense down the road, if you don't get on out of here, not one of those groups have had a target on their damn back the way black people have. None of those groups' families and culture and history have been destroyed the way we have been. All of those groups have benefited from the suffering and the pain that black people have been forced to deal with in this nation right here. I'm not sitting up here and I'm not wishing bad luck on any group, but I'm not going to sit up here and I'm not going to put these groups, their needs and wants above my own people, period. Those days are done with. I don't give a damn who like it. You got it, Ray.
No, it is what it is, bro. We got to be selfish at this point because like we said, everyone else is looking out for themselves. But now that we want to kind of look out for ourselves, all of a sudden they crying foul, which I don't know why. Like we doing what y'all have been doing for the longest. Don't cry foul now. And I forgot who it was. Someone said something very interesting a little earlier when they were saying about immigrant groups. We have to make sure that we don't, lump ourselves in, letting them call us immigrants. That is a very, very dangerous thing for them to do because obviously immigrants they leave somewhere to come someplace else for a better life. We didn't come to America for a better life. They ran us through hell from the moment that we got here up until 2022. But I couldn't agree more that we definitely need to get more on code. The problem is how can we really do that in 2022? Because I'm pretty sure a bus boycott of this, that wouldn't really work in 2022. Because if you ask like the people in New York that don't have cars about having to walk to work everywhere, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't work. Things like that, it's just little things like that. Like I would love to see implemented, like help us get somewhere, but like how can we really do that in 2022? And the last point I believe is Sister Trouble that she brought up about the old people. I don't like to bash the old folks either. I really don't. But in a way they kind of let us down because most of them they just worry about themselves a little bit. If I'm just gonna be honest, most of them, especially now, they just want to have a comfortable life and a comfortable death. They're not really too much worried about what we have to deal with from the things that they did, back in their day. And I land there.
Yeah, you definitely made some valid points there, brother. And what we have to do too is realize that if we see that the older generation made mistakes, we can't sit up here and make the same mistakes as well too, because then our kids will be sitting up here and they'll be giving us the same line too. When we get to that age, they'll be like, "Well, y'all had a chance to do stuff. Y'all lived in the technology age. What did y'all do? You saw the failure from the previous generation. You didn't do any better." So we have to also look at things like that as well too. Like we can talk that talk, but we also got to get ahead and do it. Now is the time to go ahead and do it. In terms of the boycott and stuff, man, there's so many numerous ways that we can boycott people. It may not be the bus boycott that was done back in Montgomery back in the 50s and stuff. And let's not and I'll say this right here, Ray, you too, like nowadays, because of the way things have been developed and stuff, the industrialization and stuff, people actually work further away from home than they do now. But even back then, you had quite a few people that had to, depend on other people and stuff. And you had less cars on the road as well, too. So less black people actually own cars and stuff. You had a lot of sisters, you had a lot of brothers sitting out there footing it. So, they had to make do with what they had to do. But there's things that we can do in terms of, let's be for real. You and I, we both sports fans and stuff like that. But if things got so bad to the point that let's say in college football that our people were getting treated so bad and this and that, are we willing to go ahead, and you're a Georgia fan, I'm a Florida State fan, are we willing to go ahead and do something that we've never done and say, you know what, man, I can't rock this shit with the college football, man. That's my team, but I ain't finna watch Florida State this year. I ain't finna watch Georgia. Because we can hit the people. The only way to get these people attention is to hit them in the pocketbook, man. That's the only respect that they have. So there are ways that we could also still form coalitions and we could still boycott and get things done to a certain degree, but you have to have the discipline for it and stuff like that. And sometimes it doesn't seem like we really, we don't have that discipline. We don't want to put that sacrifice in it. So that's another thing that we have to look at as a people as well, too, man. Like we talk it, but we got to live it as well, too. And it's not the easiest thing at times and stuff like that. So
do you think that we've gotten too comfortable as a people to the point where, okay, we may lose some people to some police violence or whatever, but in these coons' mind, do you think that kind of justifies them being able to shop at Gucci and Balenciaga and kind of bullshit their way through lives and get checks from the government and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, man. Over time, yeah, we definitely, man, we've got to the point where we really, what I'm saying, have really, we just so many things that we've gone through over the years and stuff like that, and now we progress, even though it may just be a little bit, we progress more than what we have back from 40, 50 years ago. A lot of our people don't want to go back. They don't want to deal with that and this and that, man. So we've definitely got to the point, like, we just don't have that hunger that we once did. Will we ever get it back? I don't know. We saw that hunger in the George Floyd. We saw that with the uprising. We saw we saw something in the eyes of our people and stuff that we hadn't seen for a long time. DJ, let me give a shout out to you for your contribution on Cash App. But we saw something, man. And think about it. When we had a chance to really try to see some power and whatnot, when we even had some of the black players in the NBA sitting here say, hey, man, we done had enough. We're going to go ahead and we're going to boycott. We're going to do this, do that. Barack Obama, they bring him in, and Barack Obama goes and he calls LeBron James and he calls some of the other superstars in the NBA and he tells them, oh, please, please don't go ahead and boycott. Y'all go out there and play. We need you. This is not the way to do. So it's things of that nature, man. Like when it's time like to make a stance and stuff like that, here's the first black president in the history of the United States. He sits up here at a moment in time that's even bigger than his presidency was. The whole George Floyd situation was actually bigger than Barack Obama's presidency, okay? And when we had a chance to have our actual stars and leaders, and we had a chance to actually separate for these celebrities, actually had a chance to actually earn that real stripes, he goes out there and he helps to diffuse it. Now, did they really want to go through with it? That's another issue as well, too, because if they really had their mind made up, they would have said respectfully, President Obama, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this because we're doing this for the people and whatnot. But when we had a chance to really go ahead and make that impact like that, here comes Obama. He sits up here, he talks him out of it. Now, the whole time, man, after your presidency, you've been sitting in the sideline, you've been sitting in the background, you've been on your book tours, you've been chilling, you've been relaxing, you've been trying to stay. Now you want to come up here, and now you want to go ahead and tell people what they need to do with something that has nothing absolutely to do with you. These guys not going out there, they're not causing violence. They're not inciting riots and this and that. All this in here saying, hey, because of the way our people are getting treated in this country, the level of disrespect that we constantly receive, we're going to go ahead and we're going to tell these white owners in the NBA, these billionaire owners and this billionaire league and all their billionaire buddies, business partners to go ahead and shove it. Even though it's going to hurt some of our lower end players as well, too, who may not be making the kind of money we're making. But we're willing to go ahead and stick through this together. And here he comes, as always. So I don't know. DJ, you got it.
Yeah, I definitely agree on Obama's situation. Sit your ass down, Barry. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, Ray, is it, us not doing enough, or is it just really like some type of stagnation? Because I know I'll be like that sometimes where I'm running my own shit, but I do get stagnated. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I get stagnated is I don't got no help. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard being self-employed and try to keep this business afloat. And, at the end of the day, I feel like I got the willpower and the infrastructure to actually put my people in position. But I don't think we really care about that as much. I think we're too busy being worker bees, bro. We don't got the time to sit here and talk about reparations and a black agenda and black state of America and things that's going on Newstoter. We just don't got the time, bro. It's get up, get the kids ready, get them to school, you off to work for the next 8 hours yourself. As soon as you get out of work, you gotta go get the kids, take care of chores, take care of the house, get the laundry done, get the food on the table. And by the time it's all over with, it's time to go back to sleep and repeat the process for the next 5 to 6 days. So I think it is when is it that we do have the time to try to sit here and collectively, as 40 million people, talk about this stuff? Now, at the end of the day, we don't need everybody to speak about it, but we do need everybody to know about it and be on point when you come across these white supremacists and these tether rooms and shit, and verse these people and shit, and know how to defend yourself when you're around these folks. So at the end of the day, I think I think we can start stepping it up, obviously, a little bit more than what we're obviously doing. But until we get the fundamentals down, that we really need to start building with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, really start being around each other. And if we can't be around each other because, you live in this state and I live in that state, whatever it is that, your black brother and sister is doing, you need to, physically support them, So, if you can't pull up at a reparations rally because you got to work and you can't get the day off and it's too far and in a whole nother state or across the country, hey, man, donate $2 or $3 if you got it, man. Somebody selling something like Brother McCool, you know what I mean? Be More Codified T-shirts and, Sister L.O. Puppet got the baby diapers and stuff. Like, I be up here in Jersey telling people about a black business that's down in Florida. That's why I keep telling Sister L.O. Puppet, send me some business cards. because I'll be doing deliveries of folks who be ordering baby essentials. You see what I'm saying? So that money could be going to her. But until we collectively sit down and start pulling our folks together, not just the ones that do the business side, but the ones who are going who are the consumers, which is about 95% of us, if not more. And remember, another way to combat a lot of the stuff that's going on as far as not being able to buy black, what I want everybody to do right now is go over to the Twitter search right here and look up Our Black Year, OUR Black Year, all one word. That's Sister Maggie Anderson. She spent the whole year of her time buying nothing but black stuff and trying to buy from black people. And she documented all of it. So if y'all could go over there and look at that sister's rhetoric, hopefully that will spark, the cell in your brain to start, hey, look, man, you know something? I could be doing better as far as supporting my people too. And it ain't gonna be all peaches and cream, because she even said that I couldn't buy everything black. I still had to go to the WPI institutions to get certain things that our people just don't have access to. So it ain't gonna be all 100%, but it could be. You feel me? And then that just falls down to y'all that are consumers and people who consume this content. We're a nation of capitalists. So somebody has to be buying and selling all day, every day. Go look up how to sell the Negro. I always talk about that, how to sell the Negro. Look how these folks pretty much, drove us into consumerism. It's a reason why we have over $1 trillion in buying power, because we don't own anything. We don't own shit. You know what I'm saying? So we can't complain when, the NBA and the Nets do this to Kyrie. We can't complain when the Adidas and the ADL, who's supposed to be for everybody, by the way, you know what I mean, do this to Kanye. We can't complain when they buck us down in the street and all this other shit and write laws and legislation against us. We don't got no power in this country, bro, and that shit is fucking clear as day. So until we able to get, some D block, money, power, respect, you know what I'm saying? We're going to be here tomorrow talking about it. And hopefully that it's us here in this chat right here that is making a change. So at least our future born kids don't look back on us here in this room and call us coons and sellouts and all that other shit. And that we really did try to make a difference and a change. And it ain't going to happen overnight, because as they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. But it will happen as long as you put your foot down to the pavement and just doing what you got to do. Support these black businesses. Black Friday coming up. Okay, we boycotting the white folks, and you was gonna spend your bread anyway. Go spend it with a black business. You know what I'm saying? You may not even need nothing specifically that as far as like clothes or electronics or whatever. Still go spend a couple of dollars with a black business. You know what I'm saying? And you might, like I said, you might not even need that particular product. Okay, you don't need to give it away. Hey, this candle or this T-shirt came with such and such business. It's on the house, fam. That's all you got to do. Real shit, it's on the house. You know what I mean? So you can support a black business by just buying some of their product and giving it away to your family and friends. Like, yo, check this out. You ain't even got to tell them you bought it. Yo, this business was giving away free samples or whatever. Go and support them. You feel what I'm saying? So if you bought 10 products from that one business and you gave all 10 pieces away, if that business were to get one of those people to come back and spend money with them, that's a win, bro. It's a win. You know what I'm saying? Because all it is going to do is multiply. And that's the word of mouth effect of doing business in the retail world. If you tell somebody else will tell 2 people. Those 2 people will turn around and tell 5. Those 5 will tell 10. And 10 will tell 100, yo. Now, yo, there, man.
Yeah, that's real talk right there, man. I mean, hey, there's nothing really I can add to that. I mean, definitely, if we want to go ahead, we need to start supporting black-owned business. Black Friday's coming up. I don't know how many. That's going to be a huge day. I know they say inflation may definitely hurt Black Friday this year and stuff like that. So, if you know of any black-owned businesses come Black Friday, go out there and support them as well too. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, I know the news say that because they either want you to do one or 2 things. One, they obviously want you to go spend your money, but when you got these WPI news stations talk about inflation gonna hurt the market and all in the retail establishments, that's a big ass lie. Because I'm in the stores every day, and when I tell you the shelves are empty, food, electronics, cleaning supplies, you know what I'm saying? Add it up, the shelves are empty. This is why I constantly repeat to y'all, go research and study what a food desert is, because this shit is man-made. It ain't naturally made. You feel what I'm saying? So a food desert basically is, okay, you got the black hood and you got the white neighborhood. And the groceries is all coming from one major company, going into these retail establishments of a Whole Foods or, Piggly Wiggly, whatever you got in your neighborhood. You know what I mean? So when the distributor of the main parent company of these little Piggly Wigglies go to distribute foods to the stores from the warehouse, you got to bypass the hood in order to get to the white neighborhood. So because the distribution plants are usually in the black neighborhood, a lot of us don't even know this shit. You feel what I'm saying? So why aren't the stores stocked in the hood like they are 1 or 2 miles down the road in a white neighborhood? It's because that's what a food desert is. They're keeping certain supplies, or they're limiting, the supply chain to us black folks. Now, the other issue that we are running into as well is that because of the influx of immigration in our neighborhoods, they're not in the white neighborhoods, they're not in the rich neighborhoods, you know what I mean? They come into our neighborhoods, and it don't matter if it's rich black or poor black. So now the resources are actually being drained from us. This is what Mayor Eric Adams is supposed to be saying. Well, that's only because you allowing these immigrants to come here and buy up all the resources. They got to eat too. They need medicine too. They need clothes too. They need cleaning supplies too, and all this other stuff. So, and gas and all this other shit, and housing material for building. So where is that supposed to leave you at as a black Negro freeman American when you need some lumber and some nails and some glue? You can't even get it. And when you do get it, the price is triple because these jokers are buying this shit up. Real talk. They buying up the hood and fucking up everything. And here's what they do too. They buy a lot of this shit to send it back to their country. They're not eating it and using it up here. They're sending it back to their peoples because you can't access this stuff here. I take a lot of folks that are, non-black folks, and I drive them around. I do my own personal Uber Lyft type shit, you know what I mean? And I see what these folks be doing where they're, I take them to the store, they get what they got to get, and they'll come back, and instead of taking the shit in their house, there'll be another person waiting out with a van or whatever, or some type of transportation hub to transfer the food from my vehicle into theirs. And when you ask where is it going, it's going to Zimbabwe, it's going to Tanzania, you know what I'm saying? It's going to Mexico, it's going to El Salvador. It ain't staying here, bro. So our resources are being drained. What you say about the inflation, Tyler, all that is doing is costing us to spend more money out of our pocket. The gas is going back up. I'm not sure if y'all realize somebody hacked one of our gas lines out here. So yeah, get ready for that. Go fill your tank up tonight before tomorrow and this weekend come, because the gas might be back at $4 or $5 a gallon. Real talk. But go ahead, Sister Trouble.
Yeah, the gas over here just jumped down to $2.98 today. But I promise you, tomorrow it'll be back over $3. So the first thing I did, I looked at my gas can. Let me go ahead and fill all the way up. Everything you just said is true. For the most part, in my area, we're out of a lot of things. The main thing we're out of and continually stay out of is medicine. Like my son was sick tonight, and I couldn't find any Robitussin, anything, not even the store brand stuff on the shelves. And I went to the CVS, I went to the grocery store, I went to the Family Dollar.
Hey, let me think about that just real quick. Okay, the reason why you won't see any medicine on the shelf, 2 things. One, you got a lot of these drug addicts that are taking this NyQuil and whatever type of antihistamines, crushing it up and snorting it because they can't afford to buy dope. So that's one thing. Other thing is too, like I said, other folks are coming in here draining the resources. And the third thing would be it's flu season, so everybody's sick. So on my deliveries, that's what I've been delivering a lot of medicine lately. And baby,
it's been like that in this area over here for the last 6 months. It's been a lack of medicine on the shelves.
Okay, so here's what you do, and this is what I'll tell everybody. You got 2 choices. Well, one choice, and one is an option. Let's start with the option. The option is to get on the phone and call your distributor or whatever parent company of the Piggly Wiggly and say, hey, look, you're not stocking these shelves, because the other point would be to go down to the white neighborhood and get the medicine from there. Get in your car, and you're gonna have to drive over to the next town.
And that's generally what I do. Now, what I did do was, because I'm real friendly with the manager inside Family Dollars by my house. I went in and had a conversation with her a couple of months ago about the Mexicans coming in and buying everything up in bulk. They were buying 4 or 5 things of the 32 toilet papers at one time, getting all of the supplies of, just like you said, cleaning supplies, this and that. When I told her what was going on when she wasn't in a store, because she had been spending a lot of time in the store, so she was taking a little bit of a break. She had to get all of her employees together to let them know nobody can come in here and get more of 2 of the toilet papers. She went back to restricting it on her own without the corporation stepping in. It's something that she did on her own. But, I can't expect all of the store managers to do what she's doing. But I just know that, it pissed me off when I seen it, because I went to get some Ajax and I ain't had my Ajax.
Right.
And I seen somebody with about 6 of them on their cart, and I'm like, dang, let me at least get 1. You don't need 6. I know about 50 of y'all in one house, but damn.
Right, but have you been trying to hit things like to say, like, when you come to cleaning supplies nowadays, the best place to get that shit from is like the dollar store show. And a lot of the times it'd be a lot of it on the shelf, no matter what. If I'm in a rich neighborhood or a white neighborhood, it's hella cleaning supplies on the shelf. And keep in mind, the Dollar Trees, they sell name brand Pond Salt, Ajax, but just a smaller version for $1.25, $1.50 or whatever it is. So don't think about the dollar store, the Family Dollars, the Dollar Tree. They be having that stuff right on the shelf. And
what else I've known is that on the white side of town, and I don't want to say the better side of town, but what it is. What I don't understand is why is certain food products cheaper over in the richer neighborhoods, and it's so much more expensive over here in the poor neighborhood.
Well, yeah, that's part of that.
I spent $5 tonight, or $4.69 on a 12 on a dozen of eggs. But if I ride to the other side of town where the white folks is at, I can get it for $2 and some change.
Right. Okay.
You tell me that that this is a poor area, but you jack the prices up on the same product in the same store, in the same company.
Right, but now hold up a minute. It's a reason behind that, though, sis. So the reason is, one, it may not be of high demand in that particular rich white neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? They may not eat eggs like that, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? So since the demand is happen to be in your neighborhood around the corner from your house, everybody eats eggs in the town. So therefore, meaning being that these egg factories are getting burnt down across the nation. So it's the black folks, us, the poor people. We always paying for this shit. We're going to be the ones. I mean, we are the ones paying for this inflation and higher prices of everything. Because we're in the inner cities. A lot of these towns far away, they're kind of rural in a way, or like small type towns. So they don't get a lot as you would think, but it is stocked there. You know what I'm saying? But everybody ain't coming for the same product. Like most of us are in the hood. And like I said, what I really, really see is these immigrants coming in here and they just messing up the resources. You shouldn't have to go pay over $5 for a carton of 12 eggs, man. That shit is ridiculous.
And the egg lands best, which generally is the most expensive eggs in there.
I don't like those eggs. You like those eggs?
I don't generally buy them. I generally just get the store name brand of eggs.
Yeah, me too. I think the egg lands
but they were cheaper than the store name brand of eggs tonight. I look at the milk. The milk was $5.
Now hold on. Was that because they on sale?
I was in the pound jug of milk $1.89.
But with that being said, though, were they on sale? Because that's what I was looking at. Sale price.
Wasn't on sale.
Like that.
That was the regular price. Trust me, a lot of times I got 4 kids. So
right.
I go to the store when I know that they have to buy 1 get 1 free, 2 for A, B, and C. Like I went to get some sodas for the holiday, and I looked and the I love strawberry pop, but the strawberry crush they had on had it went from several months ago being $4.99 to now it's $7.99. And they had the audacity to go, and they normally have 3 or 4 for $11. Tonight they had it buy one get one free, but they jacked the price up to $7.99. So basically, you're trying to make it seem like I'm getting one for free, but I'm paying for it.
Right, at the end of the day. So with that being said, since you got a large family, do y'all go to any of the bigger box stores like a Costco or BJ's or Sam's Club?
Yeah, I have a Sam's Club deal. I go to Sam's Club and buy, and a lot of times what we do is when we drive down to the country, which is probably about a 45 minutes to an hour drive, we'll ride down to the country and shop with the black meat market, and buy in bulk, certain meats or whatnot, and just put it in our deep freezers or whatnot. But when you need stuff on the fly, when you don't want to drive that distance, because that's basically a 2-hour round trip ride, you go to your local Jimmy's and you want to go and get whatever it is that you need on the fly. I mean, if I'm in the middle of cooking and I realize I don't have but 2 or 3 eggs left and I'm making a big, macaroni and cheese, you know what I'm saying? I need to go to the store right quick. I don't want to drive all the way across town, just to save on some eggs, because now I'm spending the gas. I don't have to spend.
Well, no. If you're only down on 2 or 3 eggs, just drive across town and get that bulk again. You know what I'm saying? Just go buy that crate of eggs from Costco. You know what I'm saying, or from wherever, and be done with it. You know what I'm saying? So that way, I understand that the gas and the time, that does play a part in it. But you got to start putting yourself on the schedule. All right, we eat X amount of eggs, and it's usually finished around this time of the month. So that will prepare me to go to the store, drive, and take a little road trip to go to the store, an hour down the street, and come back with another case of eggs for the whole month. And this is the type of stuff that we need to be planning on too. That start getting your your doomsday prep and stuff in order. As far as hey, I got this X amount of stock of food. I got 6 months worth of eggs in the house. I ain't got to go nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, real quick, DJ, in trouble. Let me go ahead because I see JoJo has his hands up. So let me go ahead and let JoJo go ahead and get his conversation here real quick. JoJo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. When you was talking about, lady was talking about the different prices. The deal of it is, in the black neighborhood, anything that is bad for your health is cheap. When you go to the white neighborhood, it's higher. And when it comes to vegetables and meats and stuff, it's cheaper in the white neighborhood. I found out when these vegetable trucks come out, they go to the white neighborhoods first. They get the best of the vegetables. And whatever's left, they send that to the black neighborhood. So there's a difference, on how things are distributed. Now I want to talk about Charles Barkley. It seems to me like a lot of these guys that I noticed that Charles Barkley is a troublesome person. Younger, how he throw people through windows, spitting on little girls. And I think when guys do that, they hold it over their head. And so, hey man, if you want to understand this lane with us, you got to work with us. So I think they got something on Charles Barkley. These guys make them keep cooling like that, because I just don't see the difference in how Charles Barkley was and how he is now. So I always thought that when I see these guys cooning, that these white people have something on them to where if they don't, they will get locked up, or whatever charges they might have, they can bring against them for something they've done in the past, they will. Like I said, I appreciate your show, brother, and I'm going to lay my plane.
I think, brother, what you're saying, that I think in some of these cases, you do have sometimes that these people may have something in the background on some of these black people, and even some of their own people that, they're like, look, you're going to go ahead and you're going to do it this way, or we're going to go ahead and let this happen to you. In some cases, too, though, I think some of these people, may just be like what you say, coons and stuff like that as well, too. Some of them just, see the world as totally different, or think that they've reached a status where they're beyond being black. Because O.J. Simpson wasn't the only black man that thought like that. You've had a lot of black men and black women as well, too, reach a certain stature in terms of financially and stuff like that, where they no longer feel like that they're above just being looked at as a black person, that they're a human being and this and that or whatever. And whatever applies to other black people really don't apply to them because they have the money and they live in they have a whole different tax code and zip code, and the people that they consider friends and stuff are nothing like the ones that they used to have and stuff like that. So sometimes I think it's some truth in that. And sometimes I think it's just people that once they get to a certain level, because a lot of black men and stuff like that feel like they've got to a certain level. So now, since I've got to this level, let me go ahead and get this white woman on my arm because I'm beyond the status of so many of these other black men and stuff like that. This is my new status symbol as well to this white woman, this beautiful blonde hair, blue eyed white woman. And if people want to fall in love with who they want to fall in love or whatever, find more power to them and this and that too. But if you've never even had a white girlfriend or something like that before, and all of a sudden when you get money, then now you're going to hook up with a white girl and stuff like that. You have a lot of black people that have that kind of mindset as well too. So Charles Barkley was somebody back in the day. He would run his mouth and he was considered, I wouldn't say militant, but he was always considered somebody who would always, pretty much stand his ground and this and that or whatever too. But let's not forget Charles Barkley also always did, have a thing for white women as well too. And I know people say, well, you can date white people or you can date outside of your race and stuff like that and still be down for the cause. And I'm not disputing that to a certain degree either. But I just think that because Charles Barkley, remember, he threw a man through a window, and I know this is somebody at the bar or whatever. He threw a man through a window, and like Ray said, he spit on the girl. I think he accidentally spit on the girl on accident. I think he was trying to spit on a man. I don't know if it was at a game or something. I think he was actually trying to spit on a dude or something like that. No, I'm not disagreeing, but I'm saying, if you spit on a man or something like that maybe was now I think the man was taunting him or this or that or whatever. You're right. Spitting on somebody is considered a low down, dirty thing or whatever. But I believe he did try to spit on the man and he accidentally spit on the girl and this and that or whatever. But like I said, just to my understanding, Charles Barkley, like I say, so many of these guys, once they get to a certain level, man, that you can't tell them that they're not bigger than being black. And like I say, we all look at OJ and stuff like that, and OJ tell you straight up like, I'm more than black and this and that. I'm OJ, whatever. Until the shit hits the fan, then you just another Negro. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Ray, go ahead. You got your hand up. Let me give a shout out to Brother McCoo too for his contribution on Cash App.
I was just gonna say something real quick about what you said, man, because I really do not believe that you can be pro-black if you are dating someone that's not of your lineage or your ethnicity. Like, how can you claim you love black people, but then, as soon as you get away from that microphone and you get behind these sheets, now you land up with somebody white or Mexican or whatever that person may be. Like, if your biggest commitment isn't to a black woman, then you ain't talking about nothing at all. And I can say that because my wife is black. I got 3 black kids. I put my life all on social media. I have nothing to hide.
Yeah, real talk. I mean, what would you say about somebody like Frederick Douglass Frederick Douglass did marry a white woman, I believe, towards the end of his life for everything that he went through. You talk about somebody who was born a slave, somebody who always fought for black rights and this and that, even back then and that time. But Frederick Douglass, I believe, did actually marry a white woman at one time too. So,
Yes, he did. He absolutely did. But you got to think about this. He was an old man at the time. But he had what's her name, Anna Marie Douglas, which was his spouse, had all of his kids, and really helped him become really who he was. I mean, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, he did some cloning when he was older. But I don't know, I just want to make sure anytime we talk about that, I always like to throw that sister in the conversation. People don't ever talk about her. They always talk about Frederick Douglass. But a lot of the stuff that he did, he would have been able to do without Anna Marie Douglas. Amen.
Hey, somebody phone. Hey, man, somebody phone. I don't know. Make sure you speak. I don't know who it is, but check the.
That page alert. You better hurry
What? Let's go ahead and see. I'm not sure who that was, but definitely go ahead, man, and go ahead and definitely get that under wraps or whatever. I'm not sure. Like, that was back in the day, like what was Sky Page or whatever, man. Like, good. My goodness.
Real quick, I misspoke. Her name was
Yeah, real talk. Like I'm saying, I'm just saying, but we could use somebody like Frederick Douglass or whatever as an example. And like I say, I'm with you on the most part. Like if you really pro black, then that woman should be. And I don't care if she's a light skinned woman or whatever. It should be a black woman or whatever. So I'm in agreement with you on that, Ray. I mean, I can't really argue with nothing what you say. I just use him as an example because he is one of the most important black men to ever be in the country. So I have to kind of use him as an example. Professor, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, Ray was right on that, man. I mean, he had a black wife. She was the one that put him where he was at the time. You know, she was a big supporter of him, raised the kids. And then, of course, as he got older, he got involved with a white woman who was a part of the so-called abolitionist movement and also a part of the movement of the, I guess you could say, the beginning stages of the white women who were trying to fight for equal rights for voting at the time. I can't remember his second wife's name, but yes, he became a coon at the end there. But then again, he might have been a little bit senile too. Who knows? But according to the articles that you read about this white woman, they said that she pretty much did it.
Her name was Helen Douglas.
Okay, and she was a big part of that movement, right? Helen Douglas, was she a big part of the equal rights movement for the white women who were trying to get the right to vote, if I remember correctly?
She had this newspaper. It's like this feminist newspaper, if I remember from history class, right? Oh yeah, she wasn't. She had too much herself.
Yeah, and see, from my understanding, she was very faithful to Frederick Douglass. The articles that I had read about her, she was doing everything in reference to him. I think even at the end of his life, she made sure that the world knew of everything in reference to him. So it seemed like she was a pretty good wife. But I don't know, y'all. I have always wondered about that. If a black man, a white woman, or black woman, white man, if you're a leader of a movement or you're a leader in a movement, such as our situation, can you really lead our people? And you got this.
Because their judgment is going to be skewed. Like, how can you talk about black? Could you imagine Dr. Khalid Muhammad coming home to a white woman every night? You will look up.
It seems strange, don't y'all think? Like, okay, you look at like this coon nigga. Excuse my French, y'all. Clarence Thomas, right? You look at somebody like this, and we found out his wife was one of the biggest supporters of that whole January the 6th riot. Okay, the insurrection. She was a big supporter of it. Hell, she was even, I guess, in part of the planning of this whole thing. So you think about that woman, and then you think about Clarence Thomas. See, he has sold his people out. See, this is the problem, man. You get involved in one of these things, you're gonna have to sell your people out because you're gonna be skewed towards their views. And so Clarence Thomas has been skewed towards Jenny's views. I think Jenny wears the pants in the relationship or in the marriage. Yeah, she's telling him what to damn do. Yeah, that's right, Nick. Well, you better do what I tell you to do, or else. You know what I'm saying? And so Clarence Thomas is a prime example of what I'm talking about, y'all, that we don't need a black person that's married to somebody of a different race to lead in this category or in this situation with our people. We just can't have it, man. I just don't think they can do it. Now, some people gonna argue with me about that. There's gonna be some people that gonna say that's not true, but I just don't see it. I don't think you can do it if you married to somebody that's of another race.
Let me get to no taxation. Sister, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you all tonight? Hello to everybody in the room.
What's going on, big sis?
Hey, how you doing?
Plugging along here. Hopefully, at the end of the week, I'll be back to my old self. I was having this conversation the other day with someone, and I made a distinction. There is a difference between being pro-black, which anybody can be pro-black, and being black-centered. When you're black-centered, your entire life and every facet of your life is built on being black in America. You have a black spouse, you have black children, you try to frequent every black business that you can. You reach out to black folks, you help black folks. If you're in a position, you hire black folks. That's being black centered. Pro black means that you understand the plight of black Americans in the country and that you may be an ally to us in our fight for freedom, reparations, and economic redress. And I think it's less about being pro-black and more about being black-centered, which is black, 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 which is what we are. And there are whites that are on our side, and we could say that they're pro-black because they help us fight for our rights, and they're allies. But they're pro-black. They understand exactly where we are in this country, and 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 will help move us along. And in the past, there certainly, were whites in key positions that have helped us because we needed the help, and there was nobody else to help us. And in that way, they were pro-black. But black-centered is vastly different from being pro-black, if you understand what I'm saying.
Great point you made there, sister. Great point. So, what would you consider Frederick Douglass? Not to not to go ahead and just totally change the conversation, Ray. I'm gonna get to you. What would you consider somebody like Frederick Douglass who did have a white wife?
Well, Frederick Douglass, his circumstances were so vastly different. I don't think that he married this woman in his late stage of life because she was white and he wanted a white woman. I don't think that about Frederick Douglass. And of course, his home is in D.C., and I've been to D.C. and I saw what it was. I think probably at that point in his life, what happens when you get older and you fight for so many years, fight for so long, you become old and your eyes start dimming. You say, how can I approach this another way? And I think that's what Frederick Douglass did. A lot of times, back in those days, black men would get a white woman because a white woman could open doors that a black man couldn't. Just as when I was coming up, dark-skinned black men would marry a light-skinned woman because she could get in the doors that he couldn't. But the job was to open the door. And in some cases today, that's still true. Um, we have to look at it historically. He did what he could do while he was young. The other part of it is, his ancestry was mixed. And he did what he could do while he was young. But as he aged, and in the aging process, and because you fight for so many years, you begin to say to yourself, what can I do now that I haven't done already? What can I say now that I haven't already said? How can I accomplish something differently than what I want to accomplish? And people die, and they have won some battles, but the war wasn't won for them. We have to think of people in our own family that had to take it to the grave with the fight still going on. And it's a hard pill and a bitter pill for us to swallow. It really is. In the aging process, you'll see that. It's a hard pill to swallow, to know that you've done all you can do, and you think of other things that you can do. I also think that this woman cared for him. And when I say cared for him, I mean physically cared for him. I think she probably cleaned and
cooked, and that kind of thing. And men need that, especially back then. So I think we have to look at it differently. And I just want to add this on the as just an aside for people's information. Jenny Thomas's mother was pro-black. She was very concerned about black children needing clothes and food and shelter and those kinds of things when Jenny was coming up. Okay, so a lot of what she learned about black was from her mother and father. Now, having said that, Jenny Thomas has a tick. That's what was always said about Jenny Thomas. When I say a tick, I mean, how can I explain it? The elevator doesn't go to the top. Okay? And so in that way, you have to see if and this is only because I know these people. In that way, you have to say to yourself, okay, I could see how she got tied up in all of this. And her husband is sitting on the Supreme Court because she can't think through. She can't think the long run. She doesn't see the big picture. And it's my belief that because of his position, I bet he didn't know 90% of what she was doing because he probably said to her, don't tell me. I bet you that. He's not stupid. He's not dumb. And he knew who he was dealing with. And I think it was one of those situations like Frederick Douglass. He married a white woman because he thought it would open more doors for him, and it did. Because that's how he got on the Supreme Court, was because her mother was connected to the Republican Party. That's how he got on the court. It wasn't because they looked around and said, let's go get a black judge. They looked around and said, we have an opportunity to put a black judge on the court because, Thurgood was gone. And they said, who can we get that's a Republican? And he was the only one out there. That's how he got the job. The stars were aligned. It wasn't because he was so great. It was because he was black, he was a Republican, and his wife was Jenny Thomas. So there you go. And I'm not going to land the plane because I don't even like airplanes, but it's a necessary evil. But I'm going to leave it at that.
No, that sounds about right though, sis. You know what I mean? That, a lot of our folks probably had to, use white folks in order to get things done. You know what I mean? We don't know the plight of Frederick Douglass and what he had to really go through in order to make things happen for our people. You know what I mean? And I've heard that story too about Jenny Thomas's mother too before. Be sure on that one. How's the website coming along for the Juneteenth reparations and taxation?
Well, we're going to have the website up on Thanksgiving Day. And so I'm going to make sure, hush Plato, I'm going to make sure that everybody is contacted that's on the team, you, Newstoter, and some others, so that you guys can have the links and those kinds of things. The hardest job of it is just an informational website to tell you about the rally and for organizations to do updates on what they're doing, the transportation for the buses, who's on the planning committee and who are the organizations involved. So it's not an extensive website, but the biggest problem I had was, you have to run people down and say, what do you want? Because I'm not going to just put anything on the website without people's permission. I don't do stuff like that. So I just had 2 or 3 more people, and they contacted me today, so I can get to it and get it done. But we've got to get it up because my guess is now that people know what we're doing, they might want to usurp us and try to do something else, and that's okay. Like I always tell people, whoever gets there first, I still get rewarded, so I'm not worried about it. If you get there before I do, I'm still gonna get it. So I'm not concerned about what other people are doing. But my biggest concern, and you guys know this, Newstoter and DJ, is that I want to make sure that the people that have been toiling in the fields are represented and that they're seen. Because there's people out here that have been in the new movement, I call it the new movement for freedom, for years. And a lot of people don't know who they are. And so, I really want to highlight those people because those are the real leaders, the people that are doing the work, not the mouthpieces that we hear from all the time. So.
Right, for sure on that one. For sure on that. So anybody interested in our Juneteenth reparations rally of 2023, you can follow Sister Taxation right here, no taxation. Or you can contact me at Newstoter. And we'll definitely relay that information back to you for sure.
Yeah, because, we're taking it by regions. And of course, DJ, you're in that Northeast region. With Tony and the rest of the guys out there. So we're going to get you guys to do New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Jersey, everything close, because that's a day trip.
Oh, hold on. Say Jersey again. Say Jersey again. I think you from here. The way you said it like that, Jersey. Okay, you sure you ain't from North? Camden or Trenton or something like that?
I frequent certain neighborhoods.
Yeah. I heard that accent.
Got my neighborhood. My people, we all have our neighborhoods.
Hey, any family from Inglewood, New Jersey? Okay. Double check.
But so it's less about contacting me than contacting people in your region. And DJ and Newstoter are in the Northeast region.
No, I'm Newstoter. I'm down south. I'm in Florida.
I need you to do something for me. When are you gonna be able to come outside?
When am I gonna be able to do what now?
Come outside. I mean, I know you have things going on.
Oh, I got a lot of things going on right now. DJ, he can actually inform you on that right there. Right now, I'm playing. Like I say, I'm a caretaker for a family member as well too. So I have a lot of stuff going on right now.
Well, what you're doing now can be incorporated in what we need. So this is the beauty of it. Everybody is autonomous, and so how you do the mission is how you do the mission. I don't want to. I'm not micromanaging anybody, but I need somebody in Florida because I need somebody to take North Carolina all the way down to Florida.
Okay, well we can we can.
What I'm asking people to do. Let me be clear, not to interrupt you, but what I'm asking people to do is to reach out to everybody that they know in their region and get the word out. And then if people want to take a bus, the information will be on the website to contact. His name is Steve, that owns the transportation company, and he can get buses all over the country. And cut your deals with, if people want to go to the hotel or I say bed and breakfast, but that's not what it is. What y'all call it where you stay at people's homes? But it's a black website. All of that is going to be on the website. And so I want to keep it as simple as possible because it's going to start getting confusing and chaotic the closer we get. So if I started out, with less drama, you know what I mean? And then also I had a person that was doing an HBCU outreach in Atlanta, and she dropped the ball. And what I've learned in this business is that you have to keep moving forward. And so, I've got to find somebody to take her place. So that's what I'm doing now is, looking around to see who I can get in Atlanta.
Hey, Carter. Matter of fact, I meant to tell you the other day, fam, you was trending like a mug too, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was really trending, yo. It was like number one on the trend.
No, okay.
Well, now I want to say you have been over there trending. I need you to get about 4 or 5 buses.
We can go ahead and we can definitely try to set something up. Now, the actual reparation march is the Juneteenth reparation march is next year in June or July. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's June 18th, which is on a Sunday. That Monday is actually Juneteenth. It's going to be at the Sylvan Theater, which is a grassy amphitheater, outdoor amphitheater on the National Mall, at the National Monument on the National Mall. We're going to start at noon and stop at midnight.
That's something too, sister, that with the power of social media, that we need to go ahead and hold some spaces on that as well too. So that would help also get the word out as well too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get the website up. I'll have it up this week, and then we can go to the next step.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Well, I appreciate y'all. Know that. I really do appreciate y'all. I say that every time, but I'm very serious about that too.
No, we appreciate you too. Love you too, sis. You know that we got your back, and we're gonna make this happen for sure.
Yeah, you guys are doing a wonderful job. And Newstoter, you're on the media list. Dr. Jenkins, I told her to put you on there. Just put you on there, and we'll get back with you. So you're going to be listed on the website, even though we haven't had an opportunity. But you know the gist of it. We have time. Because the new black media has to be highlighted. That's of great importance to me, and of which you are one, and you're one of the most unique ones out here. So I need to make sure that you all are, you're on the website, that people know who you are, so they can start looking for you.
Well, we can definitely go ahead and we can definitely start getting that working and stuff. Like I say before, we want to go ahead and get that rolling and stuff too. Like I say, we can start holding as you get the website completed and stuff. Go ahead and keep it in the public's eye and attention and whatnot. We can go ahead and start having some spaces on that and start trying to build some momentum up for that as well too. So we want to go ahead and get this, going into next year, get this thing rolling so it'll be on everybody's radar.
Right. And Rella is the communications coordinator. There's a media person and a communications coordinator because, I needed both. And so she's going to play an integral role over there, especially with DJ late at night, because we have to get to those people at night too, because a lot of people, work during the day and they can't get the news like they're supposed to, like they want to. Let's put it that way. So, and DJ and Rel are going to be very good for at night. Newstoter, you'll be good for that Monday through Thursday at 8:00. We're going to really hit them. They'll know. By the time we get finished with them, they'll know.
We'll definitely do our part, and and everybody in the space as well too. We have a lot of people in the space too that we that are regulars up in here, and they'll also do the job as well too, trying to get that message out as well too. So, like I said, we'll try to go ahead and build that momentum up, get everything going and flowing, and then as we start slowly approaching that time and that date, we'll go ahead and we'll do our job to go ahead and get it out there for you.
Yeah, I know you will. And Black Majority State, I see you out there. The same goes for you too. I really chose well. I really feel that I chose well to have people on the team. I was very selective about it. I didn't want anybody who wasn't already working. That kind of thing. So I feel like we have a really good team of people that are Black centered. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you all.
No problem. Good to hear from you, sister. Good to hear from you. And is anybody want to add on to anything we've been talking about tonight about the Charles Barkley, the Hebrew Israelites, Chuck Schumer? You guys, like I say, Hebrew Israelites, they've been really up in the news lately and stuff like that. They were out there at the actual DC reparation march. And, I was not there, but I heard some things about them actually out there at the actual march. And of course, we just saw them the other day at the actual when Kyrie Irving came back. They actually made their presence known out there at an NBA arena. So, and guess who we got up in the spot tonight, y'all? Once again, Shepard. Shepard, what's going on, man?
I'm good, man. It's milk and cookies time or what? You going for
I'm sorry, bro, that I'm in here doing working for a couple hours and then you come in and you want to moonlight or whatever and then you want to criticize. But go ahead.
Brooklyn niggas is always late. Brooklyn niggas.
That's because we coming in when y'all serving the buffet, man. We ain't trying to hear all that talk. We want to eat. Yeah, the Hebrew Israelites. That's kind of interesting. I don't know. You know, if I'm 40, so if you above my age, then you've seen them around everywhere. They always been active in big cities. You know, them in the NOI, they the most kind of prolific street agitators and street performers in many ways that get crowds and parks and busy avenues off the hood, you know, and really go at people's neck. Dr. Khalid Muhammad was one of those type of street agitators too, in the same vein of how Malcolm X and pastors in Harlem used to bring out ladders and stand above crowds and rap. They would compete on different corners to see who could pull a crowd. It was almost like DJ battles when hip hop first started. It was so similar. And whoever had the loudest, it was no microphone. Whoever had the loudest, most booming voices. We noticed the Hebrew Israelites and NOI brothers who take the lead, even with amplification. They got deep, booming voices, and they know their shit. So it's a part of Black tradition, whether you're a Muslim or Hebrew Israelite, whatever you are, that's just what we do, is street kind of demonstrations. I remember my pops was really in his bag with his team. They go out there as black belt teachers into the community and block parties and put mats out, start showing kids and throwing them. The kids will have fun on the mats. They be teaching them discipline, how to throw a punch and everything. I remember people used to really envy that I had a father who was, you know, he's 6'6", you know, he a community dude. So they used to envy and feel I had like the best life ever. So like street performance is just a part of black culture. But the Israelites, they see an opportunity because no publicity is bad publicity. To one, raise money. To two, spread awareness and consciousness. Seems like everybody's latched on to this Kyrie Irving situation for content, for their own purposes. Kind of weave the narrative into whatever you got going on. Black media, with the exception of very few, is a reactive media. We react to whatever's trending and popping at the moment because we move on so quickly from things got to be super hot for us to really care about it for a long time. And this is popping right now, you know. Unfortunately, the way we move as a people, it may not be popping in a month, you know. And as Kyrie makes more apologies, people get more turned off about the situation, and they don't feel like, you know, the resolution is what, you know, everybody wanted, you know, and we're not moving the J people an inch. So we could talk till we blue in the face. They hate us. They exploit us. They not our friends. They have been our friends for a long time, and it is what it is. You know, we at war from 100 different angles, and they just wanted the cuts that's cutting us. You know, but Hebrew Israelites, I mean, they everywhere. Like I remember I was at an African street festival. It wasn't DC. It was a big city though, a big black city. And they came out there, and they was 30 feet away from the entrance. They set up shop, and the city manager, I seen him come out, and I seen the city manager make a move to the police, and the police made a move to observe him. So I was watching everything from a distance. And then the city manager got one of her people to go tell him to leave. And it was like, nah, we're not leaving. You could arrest us, whatever, but we got freedom of speech to be here, and there's other black people here, so why are you harassing us? It was a big-ass deal. And they stayed, too, so I like how they fight back. But moving on to Charles Barkley, come on, man. What more can you say about Charles Barkley, man? He had been sold out, man. I don't know what happened or what somebody white did to improve Charles Barkley's life and his resources, but he ain't never gonna go against white people. And he right next to Jordan. Jordan is his friend, and Jordan been quiet about injustice for long as fuck while we've been buying his sneakers. So Jordan, I don't know if it's a rumor or it's the truth at this point. If he was invested in prisons.
Hey, Chef, you remember that Oprah interview with Sir Charles Coons and Jordan bitch ass was on there, and Jordan was talking about like giving like some homeless person like gave him some money or whatever, and Barkley was like, man, don't give that joker nothing. You got the same 24 hours in a day. Tell him to get a job. Remember that shit? That was a real.
Yeah, cool I remember that shit.
Yeah, Jordan.
That's how they think.
Yeah, and look, Jordan had to think about what Charles said, and he was like, "Damn, you got it right." And they started laughing about it. Real shit. That's crazy.
Because they forgot. I mean, once you get to a certain place in life, you forget where your blessings came from. And that somebody helped you and gave you a hand up along the way. And I think Jordan forgot when he was a kid, when he was wearing all them gold chains, and he was trying to find his way, and how he got schooled and how he got put on the game. And we know Charles Barkley forgot who put him on the game. And the last
Shaq, all of
no doubt. But they in a different tax bracket now. Like they talking that money talk. They talking that Republican talk. Look at Jay-Z. He came out to my grandparents' projects and threw flyers on the floor for financial literacy and try to make it seem like he was out there helping black people when it really wasn't. So anyway, I'll land with Chuck Schumer. Man, I don't know, man.
Hey, so
my problem with the whole open border shit, right? The whole conversation,
right? So look, what's your thoughts about what Schumer said that the nation that's here now can't sustain itself? We need to import these people to help us continue on. What's your thoughts on that right there?
I think he's saying the quiet part out loud, right? And I think he's just, you know how we like Republicans, like people like Trump, because he said the quiet part out loud about shit. Like Schumer just said the quiet part out loud about immigrants and how corporations feel, right? This labor force that they're importing in and giving amnesty to, it's a labor force for these corporations, and corporations run America. It's not Chuck Schumer is the focal point. It's not the Dems as the focal point. It's the corporations. They want this labor. They want this cheap labor because now us and some Spanish is just, we need a better income. We can't live off that labor that they was paying, people before 20 years ago. Like, that's why they never raised the federal minimum wage. It's all about keeping the dollar. That's why they won't give you health care. If you work at a regular job like Starbucks, they give you 35 hours so they don't have to give you full health care. Every job, So anyway, it's about labor and corporations. But then Republicans and Democrats with ICE and detention and transportation and detention, it's a multi-billion-dollar business that both Democrats and Republicans make a lot of money capturing these immigrants, holding them, and then transporting them, and then feeding them. Like, this is billions of dollars that they make just from this part of it that nobody don't really see. Like, it's people, like, literally right now making $1 million a day because they got the immigrants in a holding tank somewhere. And that's real money that their families eat off of. So I'll land with that. The immigration question ain't really a Dem or Republican question because Republicans is eating off this shit too. It's really, is this shit going to come to a stop, a reasonable stop, so that we can kind of get a grasp of where we are as a nation, right? Like, are y'all just going to replace everybody with immigrants, or are we going to have a real conversation about our place in America and what we deserve? Some of the Spanish third, fourth generation people who've been here for 100 years, they feel like they have a little place. Some of the Asians that been here for 100 years, they feel like they have a little place of America. So we just got to have a real conversation about the replacement theory, but not in a white supremacist way.
All right. Peace to you, Shepherd. Peace to you. Chuck Schumer, I think part of what you're saying, I agree with that. You know, it's always about the new cheap workforce labor, but it's also about also a new voting block as well too. So I think that they, you know, them and Republicans want they want the actual cheap workforce labor more than the Democrats. The Democrats want it as well too, but they also want the voting block. So it's kind of one and the same. They both want illegals here. One of them wants to slowly have them come into the system, while the other one wants to just bum rush them and right into it, and so they can have a new voting block in it as well too. So, but guys, we're not gonna hold the space open any longer. We've been on here about 3 hours, so we're gonna go ahead and get ready to close this thing down. Should be on here tomorrow night, so you guys go ahead and make sure you I'm still suspended, so my suspension should be up Wednesday, so I can go ahead and start tweeting things out. At this point right now, all I can do is just DM everybody, and hopefully you guys go ahead. Miss Elmira was one of the first ones to actually tweet out the space today, so shout out to her. That's always tweeting out the spaces. She always tweets out the space. She always shows love. So you guys, if I DM you, if you could, please go ahead and tweet out the space. I know sometimes everybody's busy. They don't see it at the time, but it definitely helps to get it out there and whatnot. So on that note, I'm going to let Ray and DJ, I'm going to let you go ahead and say something. And I'm going to get the absolute last word. So go ahead and say what you guys want to say. And then I'm going to go ahead and close it out.
I know this is very random, but I just found out that the comedian Sinbad had a bad stroke. So for my people that do pray, which y'all could send something up for the brother, man. Looks like he ain't doing too good.
Yeah. Didn't Sinbad just have a stroke not too long ago?
Yeah, he's saying like he's like really, really bad off. He can't even use like his. Well, I just say he had a stroke. I don't want to speculate on what the brother got because I don't know, but it doesn't look like he's doing too good. He's still trying to recover. This happened like 2 years ago from what I'm seeing, but for whatever reason, I guess I was living on the rock and I didn't hear about it.
Yeah, I know he has some severe health issues. So yeah, peace to Sinbad. He was always a pretty clean comedian, pretty funny dude. So peace to him, and I hope everybody send your prayers to him and his family. I hope he can make a recovery as well too. So
yeah, just know, Tyler, I guess I'll send up a prayer for your situation too, my brother, and I'll land on that.
Appreciate that, Ray. Thank you. DJ, go ahead, and then I'm gonna close it out before you. So go ahead and get in what you got to get in.
Sure, not much. You know, we agree to agree. Get in the jumbotron, y'all. Look around up there. There's a lot of information. And shout out to brother Al. Be sure he was in a coma for 2 months. He just recently came out of it. Nobody even knew. His son just recently put it out there not that long ago. So bless up to him and and our elders. That's not feeling well. Got our auntie in the hospital. Bless up to your fam, Tyler. You know what I mean? We got to start really looking out for each other and start taking care of each other, man, and watching each other back.
We really do, DJ. I was, if you guys follow me on Facebook, I was just in Alabama yesterday. My uncle had a stroke, and I went to, I live in Pensacola. I drove to Alabama to go see him. So, yeah, everybody's sick, man. We got to make sure we really take care of ourselves and eat right and exercise and stuff. Because, I mean, I know all of us, none of us can live forever, but we need to do whatever we can to, live as long as we can to be here for our family, for our kids, and people that love us.
For sure on that one, man. For sure on that one. And look, we can start by just doing something as simple as eating more salads and less meats and more fruits and more water, man. Start right there. But good night, everybody. Reparations up.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, guys.
Just like you had Jay.
Yeah. What'd you say, Trouble?
I said, and steak sandwiches last night, DJ.
Oh, it was on your fire. Hey, look, but that was the first time I had red meat in a long, long time, though, and it was fire. I ain't gonna lie. Real talk, yeah.
Well, once again, y'all, thank you for coming out, joining us tonight. Like I say, my suspension should be lifted on Wednesday, y'all. So I'll be back tweeting the news out and stuff like that. Definitely gonna have a space tomorrow night. So we're gonna try to go ahead and cover some news topics as always. I want to shout out to my brother McCool and the birth of his beautiful baby daughter, a new addition to the family. So as always, we got us a new reparationist, a new black empowerment young lady on the scene now. So as always, always glad to get that family growing and stuff like that. So shout out to him and his beautiful wife and his family. Y'all go ahead and y'all make sure y'all support Be More Codified, the ultimate Black agenda wear. So y'all make sure y'all go ahead and support Be More Codified. Once I come off my suspension, I'm gonna make sure I can go ahead and tweet that out as well too. So I'll be back tweeting and stuff on Wednesday and whatnot, y'all. But thank you guys once again, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, Casey, up in YouTube. Peace to you as well, too, family. I appreciate y'all that came through and listened in the Twitter space and the few people we had on actual YouTube. We're trying to grow that YouTube channel. It's small, but we're trying to grow it and whatnot, get it out there. So another live stream, another great crowd, another nice conversation. As always, we try to cover the topics and stuff. Again, once again, thank you, Casey. Look, that shout out saying great broadcast. It was definitely a great broadcast. So definitely appreciate it. DJ, you got something you want to add?
Yeah, I'm gonna start a space so we can get our news tonight. We got a lot of news going on in the world, but let's go.
Okay, so y'all definitely, I'm gonna go over there too and join DJ. I'm still getting over this COVID and whatnot, y'all, but I'm gonna be over there in my brother's space. So y'all make sure y'all go ahead and join DJ up in that space as well too. We're gonna carry on the conversation. I was in there late last night. These are like the night hawks right here. They stay up. I can't stay up that late, but I can stay up for a little bit. So I'll come over there for a little bit and chill with the family, man. Y'all, thank y'all once again. I will see y'all tomorrow night. Thanks to the co-hosts, the speakers, the listeners, everybody who tweeted out. Y'all been showing much love tweeting this out. I can't even tweet nothing out, and y'all still been tweeting the spaces out for me. So much love to y'all. I appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all tomorrow.